Han Fei sneered. You paupers trying to pull a fast one? After that, Han Fei pointed into the distance and said, many people are watching. How do you have the cheek to take a mid-quality godly weapon out? Feng Xingliu will be ashamed to accept it. With that said, Han Fei casually took out a black crystal battle axe. Here. Let me place another bet. This is an ultra-quality godly weapon level battle axe. You 6 come together. If you win, I'll give you the battle axe and the 7-colored mystic crystal. But the things you take out should at least be of this level. Feng Xingliu's eyes lit up. Holy sh**t, Han Fei is really rich. He can take out an ultra-quality godly weapon so easily. I must get a few from him later. I heard that he killed a lot of great monarchs. How can a great monarch only have ultra-quality godly weapons? As for the 2 maids of Feng Xingliu, they were speechless. Who is this guy? Even if you want to bet, don't ask the 6 people on the opposite side to fight Feng Xingliu together. Don't they know what kind of person their young master is? The 6 are at the same level as Feng Xingliu. If he loses, not only will he lose face, but he will also suffer a huge loss. The 6 people on the opposite side were obviously tempted. However, even they were a little reluctant to bet ultra-quality godly weapons. At this moment, a playful voice suddenly sounded, the Phoenix divine race is really arrogant. Since you're going to bet, why don't you bet on something bigger? Then 3 6-flamed fiery sparrows dragged a dazzling quaint carriage over. Then, the curtain of the carriage was pulled open, and a man in a purple robe with a feminine face glanced at Feng Xingliu and Han Fei casually. In comparison, the chair under Han Fei seemed a little tacky. As for the 6 perfected star transformation realm cultivators, they bowed to the carriage and said in unison, "Greetings, Master." Han Fei suddenly found that the 2 maids beside him didn't look good. Then he heard Feng Xingliu shout, "Where the f***ck did you come from? How dare you make 6 flamed fiery sparrows pull his carriage? Believe it or not, I'll make sure you can't walk out of the South Sea divine realm." The feminine man chuckled. I really don't believe it. You can have a try. Feng Xingliu was about to say something, when Han Fei said to him via voice transmission, he's at the peak of the Tao proving level. A fierce gleam flickered in Feng Xingliu's eyes. If I won, release the 3 6-flamed fiery sparrows. How could Feng Xingliu have a spiritual treasure level treasure? He could only look at Han Fei. Han Fei chuckled and waved his hand. A stone shining with the law of lightning appeared in midair. Han Fei said, "We have treasures. This chaotic thunderstone is a treasure of the spiritual treasure level. With it, body refiners will be twice as efficient in cultivation and immune to all evil." Shoot. Feng Xingliu was stunned. How rich was Han Fei now? A chaotic spiritual treasure. He took it so easily. He just wanted to trick people into a fight. But it had already risen to this level? The expressions of the 2 maids changed drastically. They had never seen such a treasure before. But this man just took it out casually for a bet. Was he so confident in young Master Xingliu? The purple-robed man on the carriage was also taken aback for a moment. He had thought that Han Fei should have some acquired spiritual treasures on him. He didn't expect him to be so rich as to take out a chaotic spiritual treasure. This made him doubt the strength of Feng Xingliu for a moment. However, at this point, he had to accept this competition. Otherwise, he would lose face. The purple-robed man snorted. Okay. Creak. Han Fei crossed his legs and munched on the sunflower seeds. Feng Xingliu. You have to fight this battle well. If you lose, we will suffer a huge loss. Feng Xingliu's lips twitched and he rolled his eyes. 1v6? That's forcing me to use my real strength. Alas. Forget it. As the saying goes, if you don't make a sound, you won't be noticed, but once you make a sound, you will amaze the world. It's time for me to let the world know how magnificent I am. On the heavenly Phoenix Island, many talents were looking over. Someone sighed. As expected of the Phoenix divine race. They're really confident. They even dared to take out a chaotic spiritual treasure as a bet. Someone was amazed. Could it be that Feng Xingliu is not as simple as he seems, but a hidden big shot? Someone shook his head. This guy has been idle since he was young. He's a damn hidden big shot. Isn't that a pity? That's a chaotic spiritual treasure. I don't think so. The Phoenix divine race is not stupid. Maybe Feng Xingliu is really a silk pants, but being a silk pants doesn't mean that he is weak. The onlookers discussed it heatedly. At this moment, Feng Xingliu and the other party's 4 men and 2 women stood face to face. Han Fei roared, "Begin!" Swish. The 6 strong masters of the Central Sea Divine Realm attacked at the same time. They transformed into a big bow and shot out from a distance, locking onto Feng Xingliu. A woman cast a spell and triggered the Great Dao here, summoning countless Great Dao runes, and actually began to set up an array. Of the other 4, one was extremely fast and had already rushed forward. He fused with his associated spirit crystal scorpion instantly and launched a super powerful strike. One attacked head-on, and the other 2 surrounded Feng Xingliu from the side. Having reached the perfected star transformation realm, most cultivators had experienced a lot of battles and had a lot of great techniques. As soon as the 6 of them attacked, 3 of them activated divine techniques. The 2 maids of Feng Xingliu were extremely nervous, but Han Fei was calmly munching on melon seeds. Tweet. A fire phoenix rose to the sky. Fire phoenix technique, flying feather in the sky. The heavenly phoenix feather fell, and the void arrow was actually extinguished by a feather. The few people near Feng Xingliu were all repelled. Behind Han Fei, the 2 maids exclaimed, "Flying feather divine technique. When did young Master Xingliu learn this?" Ah. I remember now. Young Master Xingliu once carried a dozen divine arts back and said that he wanted to learn divine arts. God, I thought he was joking. Although the divine technique was very powerful, the other party had 3 divine techniques. Feng Xingliu's body seemed to have been pierced by a great technique. Amidst the exclamations, a fiery shadow suddenly appeared from the sea of fire. Feng Xingliu grabbed a fiery feather, which emitted a scarlet brilliance. The 6 of them quickly took action, but Feng Xingliu grinned. Flame domain. My Dao is like light. Swish. In this domain, Feng Xingliu instantly appeared behind the woman who was setting up the array. With a sweep of the feathers, half of her body was swept away. The woman simply ignored him and roared, "Condense, ice descends to the world." The sky was blocked by Feng Xingliu, and all kinds of great Dao runes surged into the ice, trying to suppress Feng Xingliu. A maidservant said, "That person deliberately lured young Master Xingliu to Attack so as to seal him. What should we do? Bang. However, before they finished speaking, a pillar of fire gushed out of the ice. Seal, and a sharp claw pierced through the woman again. With a bang, the woman's body disintegrated. Han Fei said lazily, eliminated one. Phoenix extreme heavenly fire, sky-splitting. The flames in the four seas were burning, and the void was full of cracks. Feng Xingliu roared again, 9 steps of the heavenly phoenix, traceless. Feather fall. Swish. 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 In an instant, the speed of Feng Xingliu exceeded the speed of light. Explosion. Then, a pair of wings slashed in front of the bow holding cultivator, cutting him and his bow into pieces. As for the other man who fought in close combat, he protected himself with Dao pattern armor, but was cut apart by 3 sweeps of the wings. Han Fei said leisurely, 3. Boom. Many onlookers exclaimed. I knew it. How could Feng Xingliu have taken out a chaotic spiritual treasure? If he isn't capable? He didn't take it out, but his friend did. Who cares? Anyway, I know that although he is a dandy, he is still a direct descendant of the Phoenix divine race. With his divine techniques and bloodline atavism, how can he be weak? Heh. Feng Xingliu is usually noisy, but so what? Who said that noisy people can't be strong? In the next moment, Feng Xingliu fought 3 people alone, but he didn't use any divine techniques, but fought head-on. Aurora fist. Fire demon killing fist. Flowing light sword fire. Clank, clank, clank. Clang. 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 With only 3 people left, Feng Xingliu didn't panic at all. The 2 sides fought fiercely for more than 3,000 rounds. And beside the purple-robed man's carriage, the 3 eliminated people had recovered, but their faces were extremely ugly at the moment. The purple-robed man snorted and gently tapped his fingers on the carriage. Twice. He didn't seem to do anything. But after he knocked, with 2 bangs, 2 explosions erupted less than 100 kilometers away from the carriage. The purple-robed man's pupils were constricted slightly as he suddenly looked at Han Fei. His 2 knocks just now was a cause and effect killing technique. Not to mention the Dao proving level, even peak level carefree level monarchs who didn't know cause and effect killing techniques well wouldn't be able to discover that he was attacking. This person was clearly only at the Dao proving level and didn't seem to even reach the peak of the Dao proving level. How could he break his cause and effect killing technique so easily? Han Fei said lazily, a monarch interfered in the battle of sky openers. Is this what the heavenly talents of the Central Sea Divine Realm are like? Well, 3-6 fire sparrows and a carriage are not enough. Behind Han Fei, the 2 maids were shocked. Is that person a monarch? And he wants to interfere in this battle? Instantly, the 2 of them looked awful. One of the maids shouted at the carriage, how dare you, a monarch, attack our young master in the South Sea Divine Realm? If you don't give me an explanation, I'm afraid you won't be able to lead the South Sea Divine Realm. Han Fei tilted his head and looked at the 2 maids. He thought that the maids of the big clans were really different. How dare they scold a monarch? But then he thought it made sense. Would the Phoenix divine race lack a monarch? They had stood proudly in the South Sea Divine Realm for so long. Feng Xingliu's face slightly changed too. He roared, the second form, the heavenly phoenix body. Whoosh! Feng Xingliu had wings on its back, and his body was burning with flames. Holding a fiery long sword, he shot out with a swish, and his speed increased by at least 30%. The intensity of the flames and its strength seemed to have increased by more than 30%. Huh. Han Fei couldn't help being a little surprised. This transformation was a bit awesome. Super Saiyan transformation? Feng Xingliu's overall strength had increased by nearly 50%, immediately widening the gap in strength with the other three. Puff, puff, puff. With 3 slashes, he killed the 3 people. This time, he really killed them, leaving no survivors. It wasn't that Feng Xingliu hadn't killed people before. The first time he killed someone, it was with Han Fei. Just now, he was indeed angry. Fighting cultivators in the same realm was just a tempering exercise, but if a monarch took action, it was another story. Feng Xingliu frowned and pointed his sword at the carriage. Is a monarch so great? Tell me your name. The purple-robed young man in the carriage lowered the curtain and appeared outside the carriage in the next second. He said indifferently, Shao Jia, from the Primordial Divine Academy, Central Sea Divine Realm. Primordial Divine Academy? Han Fei had never heard of it, but the expressions of the 2 maids behind him changed drastically. Han Fei turned around and waved at one of the maids. Where is the Primordial Divine Academy? Is it very strong? The maidservant looked at Han Fei as if he were a monster. How could a big shot like you not even know the Primordial Divine Academy? But she still said obediently, the Primordial Divine Academy, the strongest academy in the sea realm during the Age of the Gods, has been passed down to this day. There are countless strong masters in the academy, and its students and disciples are scattered throughout the entire Central Sea Divine Realm. Oh. It's a school. The maidservant. Shao Jia. Feng Xingliu looked rather awful, but he didn't flinch. Instead, he said coldly, in addition to the 6 flame fiery sparrows, compensate me with a chaotic spiritual treasure, and we'll call it even on this matter. Huh? Han Fei couldn't help but look at Feng Xingliu in surprise. This guy actually endured it? Although he looked tough, logically speaking, it was in his territory, and it was not something a chaotic spiritual treasure could solve. This was the territory of the Phoenix divine race, and Shao Jia had clearly gone too far. More importantly, he was just a student. What was there to be afraid of? However, Shao Jia said, what if I refuse to give it to you? Feng Xingliu sneered. The Primordial Divine Academy is strong, but it's not to the point of being domineering in the territory of our Phoenix divine race. Why? Does your Primordial Divine Academy want to attack our Phoenix divine race? Shao Jia said, I don't think so, but are you going to keep me here? Can you? After that, Shao Jia looked at Han Fei. Or do you want to keep me here? You're not from the Phoenix divine race, are you? Do you want to stand up for him? Creak. Han Fei was still munching on melon seeds, and said lazily, interesting. Do you not take me, the referee, seriously? Shao Jia said proudly, yes, so what? Han Fei chuckled. Sure enough. These days, even a random stinky fish or shrimp dares to boss me around if I don't tell my name. Han Fei picked up 3 melon seeds and flicked them. The laws became one and the melon seeds bloomed like stars, turning into 3 sword shadows in the void that instantly suppressed all laws. Shao Jia's expression changed drastically. So strong. This person seemed to be ridiculously strong. This was impossible. How could a guy who hadn't even reached the peak of the Tao proving level use such a killer move? The 3 melon seeds were not shot at him, but at his 3 followers, who survived. Shoal, how can you kill casually? Shao Jia took out a long spear and a giant whale phantom, trying to block Han Fei's 3 sword lights. Puff. 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 However, the 3 sword lights penetrated the giant whale shadow in an instant. Puff. 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 The 3 of them exploded into pieces and their souls were destroyed. The 3 perfected star transformation realm cultivators from the Central Sea Divine Realm all looked incredulous before they died. Why couldn't their master block the 3 melon seeds? The onlookers on the heavenly Phoenix Island all exclaimed. Who is this person? Does Feng Xingliu have such a friend? This guy kicked Feng Xingliu just now. It seems that Feng Xingliu was supposed to welcome him, but he forgot. I thought he was the same as Feng Xingliu. This is ridiculous. He even dares to kill people of the primordial divine Academy. Is this person crazy? He's simply lawless. Even Feng Xingliu didn't dare to kill those people, but this person did. Shao Jia was furious. He didn't care if a few perfected star transformation realm cultivators died, but this was a slap in his face, a slap in the face of the primordial divine academy. Fighting intent burst out of Shao Jia. Today, I can hardly think of a reason not to kill you. Brat, tell me, who are you? I don't want to kill a nobody. Han Fei sneered. Can you kill me? With that, Han Fei's body didn't move at all. He just raised his hand gently. And the tide of the sea behind him rose into the air and turned into a sword. As the sword shot out, the void shattered and blood condensed. Shao Jia tried to extract the law of the void, only to discover that the power of the law couldn't be summoned. Even his own law failed to suppress this sword momentum, and he couldn't move at all. 8 desolate token flag, God bless me. Swish. 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 8 flags flew across the sky, trying to block Han Fei's sword. However, before the 8 flags were inserted, a demonic hand protruded from the bottom of the sea with Tao patterns on it. The sky was filled with Tao patterns that converged into a palm and forcibly suppressed one of the 8 flags. Han Fei said leisurely, TSK. You really have a chaotic spiritual treasure, but unfortunately, you don't know how to use it. Shao Jia's expression changed drastically. Having no choice, he could only put on his ultra-quality godly weapon-level combat suit and brandish the spear in his hand, trying to shatter the sword tide. But at this moment, he discovered, to his shock, that his divine technique couldn't shake this person's power of law at all. Bang! Rumble! Shao Jia's body was crushed by the sword tide. Fortunately, the star bead between his eyebrows managed to block it. While Shao Jia was stunned, Han Fei said leisurely, I spared your life today because I didn't want to cause trouble for the Phoenix divine race. Don't you want to know who I am? My name is Wang Han. You can try attacking me in the god ferrying ancient land. I'll wait for you. Shao Jia's expression was extremely ugly. He, a heavenly talent of the primordial divine academy, had no power to fight back against this person. Who was this Wang Han? He wasn't even on the god roll. In such a situation, he certainly wouldn't argue with Han Fei anymore. Even if he wanted to take revenge, he would only do so after investigating Han Fei's background. As for the chaotic spiritual treasure, the 8 desolate banner was snatched, which made him extremely angry and irritable. A chaotic spiritual treasure was not a common thing. It was a first-class treasure in the Central Sea Divine realm and even the Sea of Stars. How could he be willing to lose it just like that? Okay. Wang Han, I'll remember your name. After that, Shao Jia broke through the void and left without looking back. At this point, the battle came to an end. The onlookers were all shocked and whispered to each other, wondering who Wang Han was. Someone sighed. No matter who it is, the powerhouses of the Primordial Divine Academy don't even have a chance to resist. This is enough to explain the problem. He's ridiculously strong. He's probably a heavenly talent of a certain divine race. Recently, heavenly talents have been gathering in the South Sea Divine Realm. I heard that Yang Zhan, the best general of the ancient demon clan at the Carefree level, has also arrived. He has visited the 8 major forces in the South Sea Divine Realm, challenging them one by one and remaining undefeated. I'm afraid that he will challenge the Phoenix Divine race soon. I've heard that too. It's said that Yang Zhan's physique is unparalleled, and he has the strongest Dharma idol, the Vajra Divine Ape. We can't beat him at all. Currently, in the South Sea Divine Realm, only the Holy Lady of the Miracle Forest and Lady Fengyu of the Phoenix Divine race can fight him. Haha, except for Yang Zhan, I heard that Chen Fengchao from the Divine Demon Forest was targeted by the Southern Dipper's assassins the moment she came. After the battle, 3 of the Southern Dipper's assassins were killed and 4 were injured. They were completely defeated. Someone said, now it seems that there is another strong master of this level. Wang Han. Although I don't know which force he is from, his strength is definitely not bad. I just don't know if he is here for the God-ferrying ancient land or to join in the competition for the Holy Lady of the Miracle Forest. It's probably the latter. But I don't think he'll make it. The real powerhouses of the Primordial Divine Academy haven't appeared yet. It's said that 3 geniuses from the Primordial Divine Academy have come. They're all super powerhouses who once reached the top 10 of the God roll. Rain Demon, Yu Donglu, once reached the 3rd place on the God roll. Spear Monarch, Zhao Longyu, once reached the 2nd place of the God roll. There's also Feng Wujian, who used to be the 1st place on the God roll. TSK. Do you think these people from the Primordial Divine Academy will let Wang Han off? That's true. Hey. Feng Wujian is a sword cultivator. Is he also going to participate in the joust for the Holy Lady? Who knows? After all, if you marry the Holy Lady of the Miracle Forest, you will be able to master the path to godhood. For a moment, people were discussing, and in the wilderness, Han Fei waved his hand and sat into the 6-flame fiery sparrow carriage. Feng Xingliu hurried to follow him and said to the 2 maids, "You 2 drive the carriage back to the race." In the carriage, Feng Xingliu looked at Han Fei in surprise. "You let him go? I thought you would just kill him." "That's not your style." Han Fei said, "What do you know? I can't be too high profile now. Besides, if I kill him directly, he will definitely cause trouble for the Phoenix Divine race. Then what will you say if they ask you to hand me over?" Feng Xingliu sneered. "I don't give a damn. This is the South Sea Divine Realm, not the Central Sea Divine Realm." Han Fei smiled and said, "You can't say that. From your previous words, I know that this academy is very strong. There's no hurry to kill them. Isn't the god ferrying ancient land going to be opened? Everyone is going to dig for treasures, but who do you think can dig up good treasures? Of course, the stronger one is, the better treasures they will obtain. Han Fei said, that's right. Wouldn't it be great if we wipe them all out? Feng Xingliu couldn't help but look out of the carriage, and Han Fei said, there is an array in the carriage. The two of them can't hear us. Feng Xingliu immediately came close. This god-ferrying ancient land will restrict your strength. Even if you've already reached the monarch realm, you will only be in the perfected star transformation realm after entering it. Can you still wipe them all out in one fell swoop then? Han Fei said, yes. Feng Xingliu was overjoyed. Ha ha ha. Great, let's kill. Then, Feng Xingliu took out a big pipe, took a puff, blew out the smoke, and then nudged Han Fei with his shoulder. Then what are we going to do next? Rob? Feng Xingliu couldn't help but think of the days when he robbed around with Han Fei. He suddenly felt his heart itchy. That was much more fun than cultivating every day. However, Han Fei shook his head and also took out his big pipe. He took a puff and said, robbery is too obviously my style. Isn't there still about 2 or 3 years before the god-ferrying ancient land opens? Just welcome me and treat me well, showing me all your extravagance. I want to stay at your home for a while. That's it? Feng Xingliu was speechless. Isn't this similar to my daily life? What's the point? Feng Xingliu's eyes immediately glowed. Yes, of course. Only a fool wouldn't want it. Feng Xingliu was about to grab it, but Han Fei stopped him. It's easy. Help me borrow something from your family. Feng Xingliu patted his chest and said, what do you want to borrow? Let me tell you, I can even take you to experience the Fire Dao rebirth wheel. Han Fei shook his head. I'm not interested in that. Help me borrow a distanceless gate from your family. Puff. Cough, cough, cough. Feng Xingliu choked and burst into tears. No, brother, you're my biological brother, okay? Aren't we a bit hasty? Are you going to attack the Sea of Stars so early? Han Fei thought to himself, so the Phoenix divine race did have a distanceless gate. But this was within his expectations. The Phoenix divine race cultivated in the chaotic fire domain all year round, and the chaotic fire domain was just like their home. Since there were 9 distanceless gates, there was no reason why the chaotic fire domain didn't have any. As he expected, the Phoenix divine race was in control of the distanceless gate in the chaotic fire domain. Han Fei was lost for words. Of course not. I just want to take you to earn some opportunities. Feng Xingliu didn't believe him. What opportunities? I only learned about the distanceless gate recently. That thing always sends people to ominous creatures. It's too dangerous. Han Fei said, just tell me if you want the opportunities or not. What opportunities? Han Fei said, I'll give you 5 monarch tribulations so that you can almost have the power of Dao provers before you become a monarch. You might even be able to prove Dao before the god-ferrying ancient land opens. Buzz. Instantly, Feng Xingliu perked up. What are you talking about? Do you think I'm greedy for the monarch tribulations? We're brothers, even more intimate than biological brothers. Of course I'll help you. Let's go right away. After that, Han Fei threw the 8 desolate banner to Feng Xingliu. In his opinion, a chaotic spiritual treasure was not much useful to him. He didn't really count on Feng Xingliu, but he would give them some benefits before meeting the strong masters of the Phoenix divine race. Feng Xingliu certainly wouldn't suspect Han Fei's intentions. He simply stuck his head out. Let's hurry up and go back to my race at full speed. When Han Fei was rushing to the Phoenix divine race, Shao Jia was standing respectfully in front of a strong master who was sitting cross-legged and cultivating. Next to this person was a long spear with phoenix and dragon patterns. It seemed to be intelligent. Senior brother Longma, that's what happened. Wang Han and the Phoenix Divine race are simply slapping the face of our primordial divine academy. The young man sitting cross-legged and cultivating had a resolute expression. Without opening his eyes, he said indifferently, "It's a slap to your face. Don't involve the primordial divine academy." Shao Jia asked, "Senior brother, do you think that Wang Han is Han Fei?" Feng Xingliu's just a playboy. How can he have such a powerful friend? And he's from other divine realms. Zhao Longma snorted coldly. Idiot, if it were really Han Fei, do you think you could still be alive? Have you ever heard that Han Fei showed mercy to his enemy? Sorry, senior brother. I was thinking too much. Zhao Longma said indifferently, although Feng Xingliu is arrogant and lawless, as you said, he is actually very strong. Anyone who can cultivate the second form of a phoenix can't really be a silk pants. It's not surprising at all that such a person has strong friends. Since he said that he will wait for you in the God-ferrying ancient land, we can just kill him in the God-ferrying ancient land. Shao Jia asked, "Senior brother, then my 8 desolate banner." Zhao Longma said, "F***ck off. You were defeated and lost your spiritual treasure. How do you have the cheek to ask the Phoenix divine race for it? You've disgraced our primordial divine academy." Half a day later, when the 3 six-flamed fiery sparrows appeared, many middle-aged men immediately showed up to block them. "Who's there? How dare you pull your carriage with 6 flamed fiery sparrows? Do you want to die? Huh? Aren't they Ching Ching and Su Su who are with Feng Xingliu? Feng Xingliu, you little punk. Get your ass out here." The next moment, Feng Xingliu stuck his head out. "Uncle Five, I snatched this carriage back. I also won back the 3 six-flamed fiery sparrows." Obviously not convinced, the man sneered. "You? Get your ass down here first." Feng Xingliu turned around and smiled awkwardly at Han Fei. When Han Fei walked out of the carriage, he saw 3 monarchs and dozens of perceptions had swept past him. Uncle Five was the same as Uncle Nine he had seen before. He was brawny and had fiery red hair and looked very grumpy. Uncle Five glanced at Han Fei and narrowed his eyes. Dao proving level? Did Feng Xingliu know a friend at the Dao proving level? Han Fei slightly cupped his hands, neither servile nor overbearing, and there was an inexplicable momentum on him. Uncle Five actually felt that he was no match for this guy in terms of momentum. However, he was clearly an immortal-level powerhouse. How could he lose to a kid at the Dao proving level in terms of momentum? Feng Xingliu, Uncle Five, this is my good friend, Wang Han. Just now, we met. Ebi **starred monarch of the primordial god academy on the heavenly phoenix island. I was sparring with his subordinates who were in the perfected star Transformation realm, but that be asterisk starred actually dared to launch a sneak attack on me. Fortunately, my brother, Wang Han, was here. Otherwise, Uncle Five, you wouldn't have been able to see me. Humph. A monarch launched a sneak attack against you? Are you sure? Han Fei said indifferently. He used a cause and effect killing technique, but the other party didn't intend to kill Feng Xingliu. He probably wanted to heavily injure him. Uncle Five immediately burst into a rage. The Primordial Divine Academy has gone too far. I'm going to teach them a lesson. Feng Xingliu hurriedly stopped him. Uncle Five, that person has already been defeated by my brother. All his subordinates are dead. Look, I even snatched a chaotic spiritual treasure from him. When Feng Xingliu put out the 8 desolate banner, Uncle Five's eyes widened. You snatched it? You're bragging. How can you have the ability to snatch a chaotic spiritual treasure? This chaotic spiritual treasure can easily suppress you 70 or 80 times. Don't lie to me. Then, Uncle Five smiled at Han Fei. Young friend Wang Han, your gift is too generous. Han Fei smiled casually. It's just a chaotic spiritual treasure. It's not worth mentioning. I've been friends with Feng Xingliu for thousands of years. How can this thing compare to our friendship? Thousands of years? Didn't you just meet? Feng Xingliu, Uncle Five, you underestimate my connections. Go away. Feng Xingliu. Just as Uncle Five was about to talk to Han Fei, a crisp voice came over. Old Five, that's enough. Why do you care so much about children's matters? A crisp voice rang out, and a beautiful woman in a sexy red robe was followed by 2 beautiful and graceful girls. They were none other than Feng Yu and Feng Qingqing. Uncle Five looked back. Aunt Hua? Why are you here? Aunt Hua smiled. I'm about to give them a class. Old Five, release the 6 flame fiery sparrows and remove the seal on them. Let them recuperate. That's fine. Aunt Hua, you'd better discipline Feng Xingliu a bit. He almost got bullied in his own territory. Uncle Five immediately blushed and pulled the carriage away. Then the 3 women looked at Han Fei in unison. Han Fei raised his eyebrows, wondering if there was anything wrong with his face. Aunt Hua looked at the 2 maids of Feng Xingliu and said, Qingqing, Susu. Your young master has invited his friend to a banquet. Hurry up and prepare. The banquet. Yes, Master Aunt Hua. Feng Xingliu chuckled and said, Aunt Hua, I was just going out for a walk. I didn't cause any trouble. Aunt Hua smiled casually. Let's go to your yard. The courtyard of Feng Xingliu was in the southeast corner of the Phoenix divine race. It occupied a large area and spanned hundreds of kilometers. It would be a little extravagant for Feng Xingliu to live in such a large place alone. However, Han Fei could sense that there were a lot of women in the yard. He couldn't help but look at Feng Xingliu, thinking that this guy's life was simply rotten to the extreme. In the yard, Feng Xingliu hurriedly said, Well, Aunt Hua, let me introduce. This is my brother, Wang Han. Puff. Before Feng Xingliu finished speaking, Feng Qingqing burst into laughter. Feng Xingliu's face immediately changed. Feng Qingqing, what do you mean? However, Feng Qingqing rolled her eyes at him and bowed slightly to Han Fei. Hi, brother Han Fei. Feng Xingliu? Han Fei looked at Feng Xingliu. That was impossible. Han Fei was confident that even a great monarch couldn't see through his concealment technique. The divine concealment technique could hardly be seen through by anyone below the level of a god. How could it be seen through by Feng Qingqing? Feng Yu gave Han Fei a meaningful look, gloating. Let's see how long you can keep pretending. Feng Xingliu hurriedly said, what are you talking about? Han Fei is in the East Sea Divine Realm. My brother, look at him. Does he look like Han Fei at all? Humph. Feng Qingqing made a face at Feng Xingliu. You seem to forget how many brothers you have. None of your friends have the Tao proving level strength. Besides, it's almost impossible that I don't know Tire friends. A Tao prover. Who could defeat someone from the Primordial Divine Academy and gave you a chaotic spiritual treasure? Who else can he be? Therefore, no matter how well Brother Han Fei disguises himself, I can still recognize him. Feng Yu looked at Han Fei with a smile. You really overestimated Feng Xingliu. Han Fei. Feng Xingliu immediately burst into fury. Humph, stinky Feng Yu, what do you mean? Make yourself clear. How am I overestimated? Han Fei rolled his eyes. Although he didn't intend to hide his true identity from Feng Yu, he didn't intend to expose his identity now. He had thought that this was the territory of the Phoenix divine race after all. With the status of Feng Xingliu, wouldn't he have a lot of friends? He could keep a low profile when hanging around with Feng Xingliu. After borrowing the distanceless gate, he would immediately go to devour ominous life forms to accelerate the ripening of the seventh divine pill. But he didn't expect that he would be seen through as soon as he entered the Phoenix divine race. Alas, I was too careless. Han Fei shook his head helplessly. His body shape, appearance, temperament, luck, and so on had all changed, and he returned to his original appearance in the blink of an eye. With a smile in her eyes, Aunt Hua looked Han Fei up and down, thinking about something. Han Fei couldn't help but cup his hands. Nice to meet you, Senior. Aunt Hua smiled and said, not bad. Just treat this place as your home. If you need anything, just tell Feng Xingliu. Then, Feng Qingqing said, Brother Han Fei, you gave him a chaotic spiritual treasure? What a waste. Feng Xingliu couldn't have felt more awful. Feng Qingqing, you're too much. I've been tolerating you for a long time. I warn you not to go too far. Han Fei looked at Feng Qingqing, who had become even more beautiful than before. She was already in the advanced stage of the sky-opening realm. He thought to himself, it's over. Look at those innocent eyes. Having no choice, Han Fei thought for a moment and then took off the god's prayer bead from his neck. Little Qingqing, I'll give you a small gift. These god's prayer bead can help you temper your body every day. In combat, it can increase your combat power by 20%. It can keep your soul clear and prevent you from being enchanted. It can block all evil and hundreds of millions of poisons. It can slowly increase the luck of the wearer and can resist soul attacks. Feng Qingqing's eyes narrowed with a smile. She quickly took it and smiled sweetly. Thank you, Brother Han Fei. Brother Han Fei, come to me if you need anything. I'll definitely be more reliable than Feng Xingliu. Feng Xingliu looked at the god's prayer bead in Feng Qingqing's hand and couldn't help but swallow. Oh, this sounds better than the 8 desolate. Better. In the end, Han Fei looked at Feng Yu, and Aunt Hua said with a smile, little friend Han Fei, please don't give them gifts anymore. A chaotic spiritual treasure and a buff-type acquired spiritual treasure whose value is no less than a combat-type chaotic spiritual treasure. If you give any more spiritual treasure, I'm afraid the Phoenix divine race can only give you a creation spiritual treasure in return. Han Fei immediately shook his head. Senior Aunt Hua, I only got the 8 desolate banner on the way. It's not important. This God's prayer bead is useless to me now. Qingqing is growing fast. She'll reach the peak level. Late-stage star transformation realm in 100 years with this thing. Aunt Hua smiled sweetly. You guys are of the same generation. Han Fei, just call me Aunt Hua. You don't have to worry about your identity being exposed in the Phoenix divine race. However, you're not here just to give gifts to these 2 little brats, right? Han Fei smiled. Aunt Hua, I actually want to borrow the distanceless gate. At this point, he couldn't count on Feng Xingliu. It seemed that he still had to turn to a great monarch like Aunt Hua for help. Feng Yu paused. What do you want? To secretly cultivate and surpass me? Cough, cough. Feng Yu subconsciously felt a little nervous. If her little junior brother continued to cultivate crazily, would he really surpass her? Feng Qingqing was puzzled. Sister, can't brother Han Fei surpass you? Feng Yu said, you don't understand. None of your business. Feng Xingliu, you don't want Han Fei to surpass you? Feng Yu, you're afraid. Ha ha ha. Han Fei. Feng Yu scoffed. Idiot. Feng Qingqing seemed to be thinking about something. She had a feeling that the relationship between Feng Fei and Han Fei was a little subtle, but this idiot, Feng Xingliu, clearly didn't realize this. Aunt Hua chuckled. Okay. Anyway, the distanceless door comes and goes quickly. Just tell Feng Yu when you need to use it. I won't be here to disturb your gathering. Aunt Hua left with a smile, leaving Han Fei, Feng Qingqing, and Feng Xingliu staring at each other. Feng Xingliu immediately took out his big pipe and said, Han Fei, change back. Quickly. Feng Yu took a deep look at Han Fei. Yes, change back. Although the Phoenix divine race is safe, there are a lot of maids and servants taking care of a certain disabled person. If word gets out, those people from the Central Sea divine realm will probably chase you down again. Feng Xingliu immediately flew into a rage. Feng Yu, who did you say is disabled? Feng Yu said, phew, you're quite self-aware. After that, Feng Yu ignored Feng Xingliu and looked at Han Fei. Come with me. Feng Xingliu was about to scold her back, when Feng Qingqing stopped him. Why are you so oblivious to what's going on? It's not easy for them to meet. Can't you give them a chance to stay alone? Huh? What do you mean? Feng Qingqing was lost for words. Can't you tell that brother Han Fei and my sister are a perfect match? Feng Xingliu looked at the two of them suspiciously. Yes, wait, what do you mean? Are they going to become Dao companions? Feng Qingqing nodded with interest. I think it's possible. Feng Xingliu frowned. Then won't Han Fei become my brother-in-law? But we are brothers. Feng Qingqing rolled her eyes. What's the difference? Hey, show me your 8 desolate banner. Feng Xingliu said, go away. Why would a little girl like you play with a banner? That necklace suits you. Feng Qingqing snorted. This necklace can greatly improve my cultivation. Speed. Don't let me catch up with you. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Feng Xingliu and Feng Qingqing were bickering. On the other side, Feng Yu was lost for words. Little junior brother, why do you want to borrow the distanceless gate? Are you secretly cultivating? Han Fei said, senior sister, I have serious business to tend to. Feng Yu said, what serious business? Can't you wait a few years? Just eat, drink, and have fun with Feng Xingliu every day. Wouldn't it be better to go out and have fun? Listen to me. When the God-ferrying ancient land trial and the joust for the Holy Lady are over, I'll take you to the chaotic fire sea, to the dragon race to play. Han Fei was lost for words. Why should I wait? I'm in a hurry. No, you're not. I am. You can pretend to be my boyfriend if you're in a hurry. Han Fei immediately tilted his head and looked at Feng Yu. Senior sister, are you serious? Feng Yu said, yes. Otherwise, don't even think about borrowing the distanceless gate. If you agree, I can go with you to the Sea of Stars to hunt ominous creatures. Han Fei was indeed in a hurry to become stronger. Shiman Lingyan was imprisoned in the river of eternal darkness and tortured every day, but with his current strength, he was not strong enough to set foot in that place. Even if he could go there now, what could a peak-level carefree realm cultivator do? He couldn't even resist a random slap of a great monarch level powerhouse. Therefore, he had to become stronger quickly. There were only 3 ways to become stronger. One was to break through to the immortal level, one was to make the 7th divine pill ripen, and the other was to bathe in the dragon pool. The dragon race seemed to be very close to the chaotic fire domain, which was why he had to go to the South Sea divine realm. Before coming here, Han Fei had already confirmed Xia Xiaochan's location with the vast ocean navigator. She had already traveled all the way from the South Sea divine realm to the West wilderness, which showed that Xia Xiaochan's current strength was not weak. In that case, he could take his time. After all, when he became stronger, he could find Xia Xiaochan faster. However, pretending to be Feng Fei's boyfriend didn't sound like a good idea. Han Fei didn't need to guess to know that Feng Fei had no choice. The Holy Lady of the Miracle Forest held a joust to find a husband, and all the heavenly talents in the sea realm had come. And Feng Fei wasn't weaker than the Holy Lady, her family background wasn't weaker than the Holy Lady, and she was beautiful. She had probably been proposed to by countless excellent young men recently. If he pretended to be Feng Fei's boyfriend now, wouldn't he immediately become the public enemy? Han Fei smiled bitterly. Senior sister, I need to keep a low profile now. Feng Yu put her hands on her hips and scolded angrily, when have you ever kept a low profile? You beat up the people from the primordial divine academy the moment you arrived in the South Sea divine realm and even snatched their chaotic spiritual treasure. Is this called keeping a low profile? I don't think you can ever keep a low profile. Why don't you help me get rid of those annoying flies? You just need to show a little strength, okay? Han Fei said, if I attack, won't people recognize me? Feng Yu said, you don't have to worry about that. I've already thought it through for you. You are now a bandit from the ferocious God Valley in the West Wilderness. I've helped you build a special weapon that suits the ferocious God Valley, a 9-foot-long ring broadsword, coupled with the divine technique of the ferocious God Valley, the sky-cleaving star-cutting Knife. With your physique and the Tao of slaughter god of senior sister Shen. Lu, you can almost sweep through those guys. You knew I was coming? Feng Yu held her head high and said, I know you're definitely going to the dragon race to bathe in the dragon pool. If you want to go to the dragon race, how can you not come to me? Little junior brother. This is also a trial for you. With your limited strength, fight all kinds of heavenly talents. This is an opportunity that others can't ask for more. The corner of Han Fei's mouth twitched. Then I should thank you? The corners of Feng Yu's mouth curled up into a naughty smile. No need to thank me. You're my junior brother. You know, when I saved the primordial star tree last time, I exposed my identity as a disciple of the Void Temple. Do you know how great a sacrifice this is? The corners of Han Fei's mouth twitched, and he said with a black face, Give me the divine technique. And where is the ferocious God Valley? Feng Yu immediately beamed with a smile. The ferocious God Valley is the hometown of all bandits. It's the lair of all the bandits in the West wilderness. No matter how the bandits fight outside, the ferocious God Valley is in peace. That's where the bandits trade and transmit all kinds of information. It's said that the ferocious God Valley used to be guarded by 6 bandit gods, and many legacies are left there. Han Fei was lost for words. So I have to pretend to be a bandit? Feng Yu asked, do you still need to pretend? Just be yourself. Senior sister, that's a personal attack. Feng Yu sneered. All right, the matter has been settled. I thought about it carefully and decided the only identity suitable for you is a bandit from the ferocious God Valley. Fortunately, the Phoenix divine race has a good relationship with those bandits. Their leader is mysterious and has never been shown, so you can impersonate him. Oh, one more thing. You have to set aside one day each month to help me deal with those annoying guys. Han Fei asked, Senior sister, do the bandits belong to your family? Feng Yu was surprised. How do you know? Han Fei rolled his eyes. As you said, the ferocious God Valley is the intelligence center. It's full of all kinds of people, including bandits. How can the Phoenix divine race not get involved in such a big force? If I pretend to be from there, people can find out about the truth after a quick investigation. If they can't find anything, it means that someone has covered up for me. Apart from them belonging to your family, there can't be a second possibility. Smart, but no reward for you. Those bandits are called Wildfire Mad Broadsword, and Uncle Five is the leader. Uncle Five is on good terms with me. I've told him about this. Han Fei. Another moment later, Han Fei and Feng Yu returned. The difference was that Feng Yu was full of smiles and was obviously in a good mood. Han Fei, on the other hand, was gloomy. He didn't want to pretend to be his junior sister's boyfriend. Feng Yu raised her head and said to Feng Qingqing, Little Qingqing, you and Feng Xingliu take care of Han Fei. I have something to tend to. After Feng Fei left, Feng Xingliu immediately came over and said, Han Fei, you let me down. Where's your power slaying great monarchs? Why can't you even suppress stinky Feng Yu? You won't be able to become the head of the family in the future if you continue like this. Slap. Ha ha ha. I don't believe it. Feng Qingqing rolled her eyes and was a little worried. Would brother Han Fei become like Feng Xingliu? Being suppressed by her sister all day long, he would probably be depressed. In the backyard of Feng Xingliu, Han Fei and Feng Xingliu were lying on chairs, surrounded by various spiritual fruits and delicacies. The two of them were smoking a big pipe. Sure enough, it wasn't easy to eat such a powerful race into bankruptcy. Feng Qingqing was pestering Han Fei to strengthen her techniques with the demon purification pot. She had many weird techniques, which were quite interesting. Before the day was over, there was news from the Phoenix divine race. Do you know that Miss Fengyu has a boyfriend? How is that possible? Don't talk nonsense. I'm not talking nonsense. I heard it from Miss Fengyu herself. Today, another group of young talents came to visit our race. Miss Fengyu personally received them and said that she already has a boyfriend who is very powerful. She asked those who came to propose marriage to her to defeat her boyfriend. First. Who is it? Miss Yu is so talented that she doesn't even fancy the countless heavenly talents in the Central Sea divine realm. How did she suddenly get a boyfriend? I don't know, but I know that he is now in our Phoenix divine race, in young Master Xingliu's yard. Huh? You mean Wang Han, who beat geniuses of the Primordial Divine Academy? Yes, it's him. It's said that he's very generous to young Master Xingliu and Miss Qingqing. He gave each of them a chaotic spiritual treasure. Wow. This person is so rich. Which of the young talents in the Central Sea divine realm are poor? But they have to earn Miss Yu's favor first. That's true. The news that Wang Han suddenly became Feng Yu's boyfriend spread like wildfire. Countless heavenly talents from the Central Sea divine realm were infuriated and swore to challenge Wang Han to see his strength. At this moment, in the forbidden area of the Phoenix divine race, the patriarch persuaded Feng Yu. Little Yu. I think Han Fei is a very good choice for you. You and Han Fei know each other well and are both from the Void Temple. It's perfect if the two of you really get married. Feng Yu said with a black face, Patriarch, that's my junior brother. Aunt Hu giggled and said, what's wrong with marrying your junior brother? Then you can be even closer. I think Patriarch's suggestion is good. After all, Han Fei's talent is not comparable to those useless people in the Central Sea divine realm. Feng Yu said, Aunt Hua, stop joking. This is just a temporary solution. When I become a great monarch, I'll just slap whoever dares to propose marriage to me to death. The patriarch said, no, you won't. Even if you become a god, don't you have to find a husband? Feng Yu was speechless. I don't need a husband. When I become a god, I'll have to fight the ominous. The entire world is in danger. How can I still care about romance? The patriarch shook his head slightly. Forget it. It's up to you. With that, the patriarch handed Feng Yu a black eyeball-shaped bead and said, with it, you can summon the distanceless gate, but as you know, the distanceless gates are born for the ominous. So they won't take you to travel around. But as long as you're going to fight against the ominous, they'll be on call. Hey, do you really not need Aunt Hua or your second uncle to accompany you? Can the two of you, together with that burden Feng Xingliu, really handle it? Patriarch, we know what we're doing. Feng Yu picked up the bead and was about to leave when she heard Aunt Hua shout behind her, you have to come back in 7 days. When those young men gather in our race, you'll have to show up. You called them over and set the date for the challenge, so you should be responsible for dealing with them. Got it. Alas, life is really unpredictable. Feng Xingliu sighed. Brother, is this the last time I call you brother? Bang! Han Fei kicked him to the ground. Shut up. I've already explained that I'm just pretending to be her boyfriend, okay? Feng Xingliu wasn't annoyed at all. He patted his butt and said, I know. I know you were coerced by Feng Yu, but there's nothing you can do. Maybe this is the fate of you and me. Han Fei. At this moment, a door suddenly appeared in the courtyard of Feng Xingliu. Feng Xingliu was shocked. F*CK, the distanceless door? At this time, Feng Yu stepped into the yard. Let's go. I only have the right to use the distanceless gate. We can only go to the place where the ominous creatures gather. We can't teleport to other places. Han Fei asked, well, I actually want to go alone? Feng Yu was immediately unhappy and glared at Han Fei. You despise my strength? Believe it or not, I can even lift you up and beat you up. Han Fei. Feng Qingqing quickly raised her hand. Sister, I'm going too. Feng Yu said, are you looking for death? Don't even think of fighting the ominous creatures until you pass the monarch tribulation. Feng Qingqing sighed slightly. It's so boring at home. Feng Yu said, go to a trial if you're bored. There are many trial grounds in our race. You can go to whichever one you want. Feng Xingliu, no. I'm going to transcend the monarch tribulation. Han Fei. You promised to let me go absorb monarch tribulations. Feng Yu was puzzled. Monarch tribulation? Han Fei shrugged helplessly. The lightning drawing platform. Feng Yu was surprised. Has the lightning drawing platform been filled again? Han Fei thought to himself that the lightning drawing platform had been filled up a long time ago. In the Thunder Note ancient temple, lightning was surging. Especially in the Thunder Pool, it was simply too easy to fill up the lightning drawing platform. Han Fei looked at the three excited people. If he didn't let them go, they would definitely make a scene here. Having no choice, Han Fei could only agree. Okay. But only the four of us can go there. Feng Qingqing immediately beamed with a smile. I knew brother Han Fei treats me the best. Words appeared on the door. Where do you want to go? Han Fei said, to the ominous gathering place outside the chaotic fire domain. An ominous gathering place? Feng Yu looked at Han Fei in shock. Are you crazy? Do you know how many ominous creatures there are? Han Fei said, I have my own ideas. A moment later, in the depths of the sea of stars, outside the chaotic fire domain, an ominous air was slowly expanding. When they saw the tens of thousands of ominous creatures, their faces turned green, and this was only the part on the periphery. There must be a large number of ominous creatures in the ominous aura. Feng Xingliu was stunned. So many? How can we fight them? Feng Xingliu was already in the perfected star transformation realm. But at present, he could only deal with corruption-level ominous creatures. And terrifying level or even destruction-level ominous creatures could easily kill him with a slap. Feng Qingqing's eyes widened. Is this the ominous? Feng Yu frowned. I'll protect the two of them first. What are you going to do? Han Fei grinned and threw the lightning drawing platform out. With a swish, he crossed tens of millions of kilometers in an instant. Finally, I found a place to farm monsters. Han Fei could farm monsters in the hidden city. However, the goddess of light didn't know that the demon purification pot would give birth to the seventh divine pill after absorbing the ominous creatures. If he stayed there, it would arouse suspicion. Besides, the goddess of light didn't even leave him any energy crystals but collected them herself, indicating that she was really just testing him. And although there was also a distanceless gate in the chaotic ice domain, it had a conflict with him. It would be embarrassing if he turned to it for help. When the large swarm of ominous creatures discovered Han Fei, they immediately swarmed up. Nearly 20 destruction-level ominous creatures attacked at the same time. Feng Yu and the other two were stunned when they saw this. Feng Yu thought to herself, has the gap between her and little junior brother already been so huge? However, in the next moment, 7 green vines suddenly erupted where Han Fei was. Puff 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 puff. In just a moment, hundreds of ominous creatures were pierced by the green vines, and the more than 20 destruction-level creatures were also killed. Is this the legendary demon purification pot? Feng Xingliu was dumbfounded. The ominous creature that could destroy him with a slap was being penetrated and purified at a visible speed, allowing Han Fei's killing speed to reach an unimaginable level. Feng Yu had wanted to come here to gain experience, but she couldn't do much in this situation. After all, she didn't have the demon purification pot. Bah, B**** junior brother. Gulp. Feng Xingliu, how can you scold your fiancé? Be careful or I'll tell him. Shut up. You two, enter the lightning drawing platform. 2 hours later, Feng Yu was already numb. No ominous creatures were charging at her. Even though they knew that they would die if they rushed at the demon purification pot, they were still attacking it crazily. In just 2 hours, nearly 8,000 ominous creatures had died. At this time, Feng Fei had to admit the power of the demon purification pot. No wonder countless great monarchs in the Central Sea Divine Realm were desperate to get it. Just look at its killing speed. Even she wanted to get the demon purification pot. Not to mention those great monarchs. For hours later, the demon purification pot was no longer willing to absorb the ominous substances. At this moment, it had killed about 15,000 ominous creatures. The seventh divine pill grew bigger, but it was still too early to mature. At this speed, with 10 more kills like this, the pill might ripen. In the end, after killing about 21,000 ominous creatures, Han Fei chose to stop. At this moment, the demon purification pot could no longer kill the ominous creatures. It could only shatter them, and the ominous creatures would reassemble. The seventh divine pill finally grew to the size of a fingernail. In addition to this, Han Fei had another question. Why didn't these ominous creatures attack Feng Yu and the other two? When he was in the hidden city, he thought that because the god was there, those ominous creatures could only attack him. But now, Feng Yu and the others were here. Logically speaking, as ominous life forms with intelligence, they should attack Feng Yu and the others too. Otherwise, wouldn't they seem stupid? No. They are being forced to block me. Why? Because to protect the ominous mist behind them, they can risk their lives. Han Fei seemed to understand something. Yes, what was in that ominous aura? That was worth the ominous life forms risking their lives to block him? And they did block him. The fearless charge of a large number of ominous creatures made it impossible for him to advance, so he couldn't enter the ominous aura. There's a secret here. Han Fei shouted, "Senior sister, let's go back." Feng Yu was puzzled. Why do you stop? Why are you leaving so soon? Han Fei said, I can't continue anymore. The demon purification pot isn't in its complete state yet. Swish. The distanceless door appeared, and this time, Feng Yu didn't even summon it. Feng Yu was quite surprised. Why did you pop up yourself? The distanceless door, you can only kill so many at once. It's enough. You can come again next time. The distanceless gate had intelligence. Hearing the door invite them to come again next time, Feng Yu was a little surprised. After a while, when they returned to the courtyard of Feng Xingliu, Feng Yu looked at Han Fei strangely, and Feng Xingliu and Feng Qingqing were withstanding the lightning on the lightning drawing platform. This would take some time. Han Fei sealed the surrounding void and collected the lightning drawing platform into his origin star. It wasn't a good thing for the lightning drawing platform to be exposed for a long time, which was equivalent to exposing his identity. It would take a lot of time for Feng Xingliu and Feng Qingqing to completely consume the power of lightning in the lightning drawing platform. It would take them at least 1 or 2 years, or even 3 to 5 years. If they used the lightning drawing platform in Han Fei's origin star, they would be able to come out in at most 2 or 3 days. Feng Yu asked, how can the demon purification pot be so powerful? Han Fei said, this might be the reason why the demon purification pot was fought over by the gods. However, the demon purification pot is not in its complete state yet. It can only kill so many enemies at once. What? Do you think it's too few? Han Fei smiled bitterly. You don't understand at all. This concerns my 7th divine pill. Han Fei, I'm using this to restore the demon purification pot. Feng Yu, by killing the ominous creatures? Han Fei said, this is also a way of recovery, but I still have to find the missing small vines. That's all for today. Let's continue tomorrow. However, the next day, when Han Fei went there again, he found that the demon purification pot couldn't absorb the ominous creatures. Han Fei thought to himself, it seems that it takes time for the demon purification pot to restore its ability to absorb ominous power. It couldn't kill more than 20,000 ominous creatures every day. On the 3rd day, the effect was over. On the 4th day, when Han Fei wanted to go there again, a line of words appeared on the distanceless gate with 7 small vines. It will take the demon purification pot about 3 months to digest the ominous power. Han Fei was surprised. How do you know? The distanceless gate, I teleported many owners of the demon purification pot, so I have a rough judgment. But if you have 8 vines, it will only take you about a month. Han Fei asked, is this your deduction? Yes. On the 4th day, Feng Xingliu and Feng Qingqing had both finished their cultivation. Feng Xingliu said excitedly, Han Fei, I feel that I can already pass the monarch tribulation. When do you think I should pass it? Han Fei said leisurely, have you condensed 5 Dao locks? Feng Xingliu nodded quickly. Yes, I've just done it. Han Fei said, not enough. The time is too short. Does your family have a time-space cultivation bead? Huh? Han Fei had seen the 2nd form of Feng Xingliu. In his 2nd form, his comprehensive strength could be increased by 50%. And was there still a 3rd form? Han Fei asked, what's the 3rd form? Feng Xingliu explained, this is the unique secret technique of the Phoenix divine race, which enables us to unleash extraordinary combat power for a short period of time. The third form can double my overall strength. So it's a secret method. How long can it last? Until I can't hold on anymore. So long? Feng Xingliu couldn't help but say proudly, sure. Otherwise, how can our Phoenix divine race stand firm in the South Sea divine realm? This is only the third form. If I activate the ninth form. Puff. Which form? Feng Xingliu was stunned. The ninth form. Han Fei asked, there are 9 forms in total? Yes. Han Fei couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. He grabbed Feng Xingliu's arm and asked in a low voice, has Feng Yu mastered this secret method too? That's for sure. She seems to have already activated her 5th form. No wonder. At this moment, Han Fei finally understood. He had always thought that even if Feng Yu was in her strongest state, she should be weaker than him. If the Phoenix divine race had such an extraordinary secret technique, their combat power couldn't be measured on the surface. At this moment, Han Fei saw an old man walking into the courtyard of Feng Xingliu with a branch. Immediately, Han Fei patted Feng Xingliu's shoulder and said, your third form is not easy to activate. Absorb energy crystals to the upper limit. Temper your body for a few years and get some treasures to protect your body. Then with the 8 desolate banner, you may make it. Go. Cultivate first. I want to talk to this old gentleman. Feng Xingliu looked at the old man. Huh. Elder tree, why are you in my yard? The old man took out a bead with a smile and said, I just came to take a look. I have a dream spiritual bead here. You can cultivate in it in your sleep. A day is equivalent to 1,000 years. Boy, if it weren't for the fact that you are about to prove Tao, I wouldn't have given it to you. Feng Xingliu was overjoyed and ran to him cheerfully. Senior tree, you're too kind. Haha, you're too kind. You go ahead, I happen to be sleepy. Han Fei, have a good chat with Senior Tree. Senior Tree is a great monarch. Be respectful to him. Feng Xingliu ran away happily, and Han Fei smiled casually. Senior Primordial, we meet again. The old man who was transformed from the primordial star tree replied with a smile as expected of the owner of the demon purification pot. You actually survived the attack of a god. The ancient star tree didn't respond but said, I'm here to thank you for helping me twice. If you need any help in the future, I'll do my best to help you. Han Fei shook his head slightly. I did need it before, but I don't need your help for the time being. However, I have a few questions to ask you, Senior Primordial. Oh? Just tell me. Han Fei paused and remembered the man he saw in the astral trial field. He couldn't help but ask, how strong is that person? With just a green leaf, he could kill a god even separated by endless years. That person was really too strong. The primordial star tree seemed to recall something and sighed. Master and you are from the same lineage, both pure human beings. If you ask me how strong he is, it depends on how you define strong. If you think that a god is strong, then he is sort of a god. Sort of? The primordial star tree said, the division of realms wasn't so clear in the past. Now, when a person becomes a god, he condenses a divine persona and has divinity, so he's considered a god. But the ancient gods aren't purely divided by divine persona or realms. When you saw the part of my memories, Master had already abandoned the divine persona and broken free from the shackles of the gods. Han Fei's eyes narrowed. Is there a path above the god realm? The primordial star tree shook its head. What is a road? Han Fei was a little choked. Being suddenly asked this question, he was a little uncertain. Isn't it a long-term goal that exclusively belongs to one? The primordial star tree shook its head again. Although I don't understand. Master's realm, Master has long stopped looking for a path. He once said that. After seeing 3,000 Daos in a day, he found no difference among them. As a human, one must experience the cycle of life and death to reach completion. Seeing 3,000 great Daos in a day? Han Fei couldn't help taking a breath. What kind of words were those? Was that man so powerful? Also, getting rid of the shackles of the gods sounded as if the god realm was a prison. However, Han Fei thought that if the god realm was a shackle, just lock him up. He really wanted to be locked up by that. Han Fei slowly came back to his senses. Senior Primordial, where will you go? The primordial star tree said leisurely, I don't know. Han Fei asked, will you also embark on the path of fighting against the ominous? The primordial star tree chuckled. I'm just a tree. I've just lived long enough. If I want to deal with the so-called ominous, I might have to reach Master's level first, but it's too difficult. I can't understand Master at all. However, I have to remind you that Master once told us not to be in a hurry to put shackles on ourselves. Shackles? Do you mean the god realm? The primordial star tree nodded. Yes. Godhood is a shackle. Although I don't know Master's strength, I know that the strength one possesses before becoming a god determines how powerful they will be after becoming a god. Han Fei couldn't help but think of the words of the god of war. If he became a god, he would be invincible. It sounded like a joke before, but now hearing what the primordial star tree said, Han Fei felt those words seemed to make sense. The demon god became a god through the dual extreme Tao. Although countless people in the god fiend sea didn't walk the dual extreme Tao, they had reached the extreme of the singular extreme Tao. Han Fei paused for a moment. The god realm is still far away from me. Has that senior mentioned the immortal level? Does he have any suggestions on this level? The primordial star tree said, the immortal level in our era started with law fusion, but now the great monarch realm starts with law fusion. By asking me about the immortal level, you're actually asking about the transition from the immortal level to the great monarch realm, instead of the breakthrough from the carefree level to the immortal level, right? Let's talk about the immortal level first. What do you think immortality is? Han Fei, being immortal? The primordial star tree, that's all your understanding of the immortal level? Han Fei was a bit embarrassed. The immortal level should refer to the level on which one has integrated with the heavenly Tao, mutually dependent with the heavenly Tao, or one can rely on the heavenly Tao to protect them. The primordial star tree said, it's actually very simple. People nowadays think too much and are too complicated. The so-called fusing with the heavenly Tao, refining the immortal bone, improving the bloodline, and returning to the heavenly Tao are all wrong. It's just because many people have set too many restrictions on themselves that they can't comprehend the immortal level. In fact, the bottleneck to the monarch realm is not how to break through the immortal level at all. It's meaningless to think too much. If you want to reach the immortal level, you just need to remember two words, law body. Law body? The primordial star tree said, the body of laws may sound simple, but it may not be easy for many people to cultivate. Most people are not stumped by the meaning of immortality, but how to cultivate a law body. That's it? Han Fei was a little stunned. He had thought that there was some profound insight in it. If it was just the law body in the God-fearing ancient land, his body almost turned into a law of lightning. However, if he was completely reduced to a law, he would be dead. Han Fei asked, having a law body doesn't mean completely transforming into a law, right? The primordial star tree glanced at Han Fei. I know that you embarked on the path of lightning and almost became a law? Han Fei nodded. Sure enough, the older, the wiser. The primordial star tree said, having a law body doesn't mean completely transforming into a law, but having a clear understanding of how many laws you have, and returning them into origin, dispersing them into each corner of your body and fusing them into your soul. You've cultivated the Tao bone, right? The Tao bone brands a great Tao on the bones, while the law body brands a law in every corner of your body, your flesh, your blood, your soul, your bones. Such branding can be infinitely superimposed. Therefore, as long as you complete the branding of one law, you have entered the immortal level. Han Fei's heart did a flip. Cultivating his Tao bone was too simple. He just needed to take a shower under the green jade stone bridge. Could it be the same for cultivating his law body? Han Fei asked, what if I superimpose multiple law brands? The primordial star tree said, when it comes to the monarch realm, besides sword cultivators, no one can rely on a single path to reach the end. Superimposing law brands doesn't necessarily make you stronger, but it can make you adaptable to all laws. However, the more laws you superimpose, the stronger your overall combat power will be. Han Fei said, there are countless laws between the heavens and earth. If I want to superimpose all of them, when can I finish branding them? As long as others superimpose more laws than you, won't they be stronger than you? Of course not. The primordial star tree smiled and said, the brands are just brands. The superimposition of laws can only slightly enhance your comprehensive strength. But everyone's foundation is different. It's useless for some people no matter how many laws they superimpose. For example, I've lived for so long and have superimposed more than 10,000 kinds of law brands, but I still can't beat some strong masters. More than 10,000 kinds? The corner of Han Fei's mouth twitched. This was ridiculous. How long would it take to brand the laws one by one? The primordial star tree said, no matter how many laws you superimpose, you still have to start the law fusion. Next, I'll talk about how to advance from the immortal level to the great monarch realm. Everyone knows that this is the process of law fusion. However, most immortals haven't taken the step of law fusion because they don't know when they should stop branding laws. When they want to take this step, they find that they don't know how to complete the law fusion at all. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. How to complete the law fusion? The primordial star tree looked at Han Fei with a smile. Have you ever seen anything grow? Han Fei was confused. What do you mean? The primordial star tree said, I'm done. The branding of laws shouldn't be a problem for you. When you start the law fusion, think about what I said. You'll probably understand. Han Fei thought to himself, I don't understand. I don't understand at all. However, it was possible that he hadn't experienced that stage at all, so he didn't understand it. but he wouldn't force it. Anyway, the primordial star tree had clearly told him the way to enter the immortal level. Although it was just a simple teaching, it was probably a summary made by countless people in ancient times. To be able to summarize it so concisely as the law body was already extraordinary. It was easy for others to say, but if one wanted to comprehend it on their own, God knew how long it would take them to figure it out. The only thing he had to consider was the way to brand laws. Perhaps the peak level carefree level powerhouses of the major forces were also considering this problem. This was because the major forces might directly tell their disciples how to enter the immortal level. What they needed to comprehend was the way to brand laws. Different methods might have different effects, and the impact might also be different. If he guessed right, this was the reason why so many people were stuck at the peak of the carefree level. Well, I'll have to shower more often. Han Fei cupped his hands. Thank you for your teaching, Senior Primordial. The primordial star tree shook its head slightly. These are all very simple things. Even if I don't tell you, you will know. It's not really teaching. I'm here for something else. Han Fei asked, what's the matter? Do you need my help? Around them, an invisible barrier was suddenly set up, and Han Fei was slightly shocked. They were in the Phoenix divine race, but the primordial star tree still set up a barrier. He didn't even trust the Phoenix divine race on this matter. The primordial star tree looked at Han Fei and said telepathically, Master once mentioned that the demon purification pot had the 10th vine. Instantly, Han Fei's eyelids twitched slightly, and the primordial star tree was stunned because Han Fei's reaction was not as big as expected. Han Fei nodded slightly. I learned about it from an ancient human. Did he say where the vine is? Han Fei was briefly stunned. Do you know it? The primordial star tree said, I don't know, but Master once said that the demon purification pot was incomplete from the moment it was discovered. One of its 10 vines was missing. It seems that the 10th vine was broken off when the demon purification pot was plucked. Broken off? Han Fei was speechless. He had never heard of such a strange reason. However, Han Fei suddenly realized something and looked at the primordial star tree, his eyes twitching. Senior, where was the demon purification pot? Plucked? The primordial star tree also turned to look at Han Fei without speaking, but its eyes were saying, guess. **T. Han Fei couldn't help cursing. There was no need to ask. He already knew. The primordial star tree rose with a smile and patted Han Fei's shoulder. I can't help you much. If only Dog Egg were here, alas. The primordial star tree slightly hunched and walked out of the courtyard of Feng Xingliu. Dog Egg? Is it the little Kylan beast? The primordial star tree mentioned the little Kylan twice, probably because he missed it. Unfortunately, it couldn't be helped. God knew where the little Kylan was, and who knew if the former powerhouse was still alive. Han Fei couldn't help exclaiming, a tree lost in memory. After talking to the primordial star tree, Han Fei did not enter his origin star immediately and summoned the green jade stone bridge. He was not at the peak of the carefree level yet. If he cultivated in his origin star, he would reach the peak in at most 100 years. Perhaps he could even reach the immortal level before entering the God-ferrying ancient land. In the next 2 days, Han Fei mainly practiced the sky-cleaving star-cutting knife. Feng Yu got the 9-foot-long ring broadsword for Han Fei and upgraded it to an acquired spiritual treasure. Han Fei sighed when he saw the broadsword. Since it was called 9-foot-long ring broadsword, it was naturally 9 feet long, even taller than Han Fei. There were 9 rings on the back of the broadsword. The rings resonated and could kill souls. Feng Yu didn't give Han Fei much time. Fortunately, he was quite knowledgeable about knives, and with the help of the demon purification pot, he could quickly master this technique. Otherwise, it would be difficult for Han Fei to show the broadsword's real power in a short time. The only thing that was not very pleasing to the eye was that violent bandits liked to carry their big knives around to show off their fierceness. This meant that Han Fei couldn't often put away the knife in the future. Whenever there were people around, he must carry it out to show off. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. Feng Yu had her own courtyard, which was planted with fiery red trees. There, leaves fluttered, looking beautiful. At this moment, there were more than 500 heavenly talents from all over the sea realm in the courtyard. Among them, there were as many as 92 monarchs. At this moment, Feng Yu was wearing a long red dress and a golden jade ornament on her head. She was holding a teacup to greet the crowd. Fellow Taoists, there are some things that need to be settled. I'm different from Yi Qingchan from the Miracle Forest. Yi Qingchan is looking for a husband through a joust. She likes strength, but doesn't care about personality, while I, Feng Yu, like strength, but also care about personality. Since you're here today, I want to make things clear in front of you. I, Feng Yu, already have someone I like, and he's in the Phoenix divine race. From today onwards, if anyone comes to propose marriage to me, please forgive the Phoenix divine race for not entertaining you. Off the field, someone stood up proudly. Miss Feng Yu, with our realm, it's not appropriate for us to talk about feelings. Emotions can always be nurtured, but there's always a difference in bloodline and strength. It's a great pity if I can't dual cultivate with you, so we want to see the one who defeats us. There were benefits and drawbacks to being part of a big clan. For example, most of the people here had previously proposed marriage to Feng Yu. Did they like Feng Yes? Of course not. No matter how beautiful Feng Yu was, they didn't mind. At this level, they could get any kind of beauty they wanted. What they wanted was the background of the Phoenix divine race. Everyone knew that Feng Yu was one of the best among the younger generation of the Phoenix divine race. She had won the first place on the heaven roll the moment she appeared in the Central Sea. It was almost no different from being listed on the God roll. Therefore, what they took a fancy to wasn't her looks, but her strength and background. As for who Feng Yu liked, they didn't care at all. Do you have a man you like? Fine, I'll just kill him. If I can't get you, others can't get you either. When Feng Yu lost love, she would naturally be like Yi Qingchan and find a husband through a joust. Then no one would covet them again. In the sea realm, most of the female heavenly talents of the large forces, except for a few women who could get rid of this shackle, would choose to compromise in the end. In fact, most of the time, even female monarch among itinerant cultivators didn't have a chance to resist. Earlier, it was the Phoenix divine race who helped Feng Yu fend off the waves of betrothal candidates. However, the matters of the God-fearing ancient land and the Holy Lady of the Miracle Forest attracted a large number of heavenly talents to the South Sea divine realm. Once again, the threshold of the Phoenix divine race was stepped flat, and almost every day, people came to visit to propose marriage to Feng Yu. If the Phoenix divine race refused, it would be disrespectful to the other forces of the sea realm, which would affect the status of the Phoenix divine race. This was why Feng Yu immediately forced Han Fei to be her shield when she met him in the South Sea divine realm. In fact, even if Han Fei hadn't come, Feng Fei would have dragged him here from the East Sea divine realm. People kept getting up. Miss Feng Yu, since Brother Wang Han is here, why doesn't he come out for a chat? Ha ha ha, is he scared? Someone said leisurely, I would have tolerated it if it were a powerhouse on the god roll, but who is Wang Han? I've never heard of him before. That's right. Does he really think he can become the master of the Phoenix divine race, just because he wins the favor of Feng Yu? Heh. It's fine if this person has a powerful background, but if he's an itinerant cultivator, I bet he will die when he leaves the Phoenix divine race. Those who weren't strong enough discussed in a low voice, I heard that Feng Qingqing is also a very talented beauty. If it doesn't work out, I can marry her. Only if Feng Qingqing proves her worth. It's a pity that the major powers have too few female heavenly talents. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had to compete so hard. That's right. I have many good friends. They had no choice but to marry female monarchs among itinerant cultivators. It was a tragic sight. Some of the female monarchs among itinerant cultivators have good bloodlines. Although they don't have a powerful background, the children they give birth to are talented. Someone sighed. It's a pity that the primordial divine race were wiped out a few years ago. TSK, TSK. Otherwise, we would have gone to the West Wilderness together to compete for their pure-blooded divine descendants. Someone smiled and said, I heard that a hidden stronghold of the primordial divine race in the West Wilderness was destroyed. 7 divine descendants committed suicide. It's a pity that we didn't capture any member of the primordial divine race alive. In recent years, the West Wilderness has been in turmoil. It's only a matter of time before the primordial divine race appears. You and I still have a chance. Ha ha ha. Feng Yu smiled, but her eyes were cold. If it weren't for her family, she would have killed all these people. Feng Yu smiled faintly. Everyone, please wait a moment. He will be here soon. In the yard of Feng Xingliu and Feng Qingqing were talking to Han Fei solemnly. Feng Qingqing said, Brother Han Fei, you must infuriate those people, but don't kill them. If you infuriate them enough to besiege you in the ancient place of the God's Crossing, you can go on a killing spree and kill all of them in the God-fearing ancient land. Feng Xingliu, that's right. Although I don't like Feng, yes, I don't like those guys who come to force her to marry them. Han Fei was surprised. I didn't expect such a thing to happen. I didn't expect that the women of the big clans didn't even have the time to choose their husbands. As Han Fei listened to Feng Qingqing's nagging, his gaze fell on Feng Yu's courtyard. Feng Qingqing said, unless your force has absolute strong masters who can suppress all other forces. Many sisters of our race are forced to marry men they don't like, which makes me so angry. Feng Xingliu, Han Fei, this is absolutely true. You may not believe it, but some people are already targeting little Qingqing. Feng Qingqing was only a sea establisher before, but her strength had improved by leaps and bounds after she entered the sky-opening realm, so people would naturally notice her. In the Phoenix divine race, Feng Qingqing was still a child. Han Fei held the 9-foot-long ring broadsword in one hand and suddenly swung it. The broadsword broke through the void and stabbed into Feng Yu's courtyard. Bang! The broadsword broke through the void and suddenly fell. Although someone in Feng Yu's yard sensed it, they didn't have the time to attack. At this moment, a person was talking, saying that he wanted to meet Han Fei. When the 9-foot-long ring broadsword suddenly appeared 5 feet away from this man and the knife light cut him in half. Who is it? Which B** star did this to me? He. Han Fei's voice echoed above Feng Yu's yard. Didn't you want to see me? When Feng Yu saw the broadsword fall to the ground, the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. She thought to herself, after all, little junior brother has made a name for himself by fighting his way through. Dealing with this small scene is simply a piece of cake for him. The forbidden area of the Phoenix divine race. The patriarch and Aunt Hua were also looking at Feng Yu's yard. Aunt Hua, I don't know if it's wrong to let Han Fei take action. If he really pisses off the forces in the sea realm, I'm afraid our Phoenix divine race will suffer. The patriarch sneered. Little Yu's identity as a disciple of the Void Temple hasn't been exposed yet. Even if the entire Central Sea divine realm gangs up on the Phoenix divine race, so what? Han Fei can kill so many monarchs, so can little Yu. In any case, try to stall until little Yu becomes a great monarch. Then let's see who dares to cause trouble. Antoine nodded slightly. She asked Han Fei to take action this time because she wanted to keep Feng Yu's identity as a disciple of the Void Temple a secret. Otherwise, if Feng Yu killed these people by herself, it would definitely attract the siege of the various forces in the sea realm. At that time, it would be difficult for Feng Yu not to expose her identity as a disciple of the Void Temple. In Feng Yu's yard, the guy who was cut in half had just recovered when he saw a young man appear several meters away from him holding a red fruit in one hand and carrying a 9-foot-long ring broadsword on his shoulder. Han Fei said, I heard that some trash wants to fight me? Shoal, are you Wang Han? How dare you call me trash? Do you know who I am? He. No, don't take me wrong. I'm not targeting you. I mean that everyone present here is trash. What a braggart. Are you looking for death? Tell me, which force are you from? Someone sneered. It's a 9-foot-long ring broadsword, one of the common weapons of the bandits in the West Wilderness. I didn't expect Miss Feng Yu to like a bandit. Han Fei sneered. Do you think you're not bandits? The difference between me and you is that I rob blatantly, but you only know how to play tricks. You're even worse than women. How dare you? Wang Han, right? Do you dare to fight me? Han Fei grinned and said, didn't you come to fight me today? Too many souls have died under my 9-foot-long ring broadsword. If you want to die, come on. Cough, cough. After watching the show for a while, Feng Yu finally spoke, Henin, after all, they are our guests, so you need to be careful and restrained when taking action. Don't act recklessly and be mindful of your actions. Han Fei? Han Fei shivered. What kind of nickname is this? I'm pretending to be a bandit. Why do you call me that way? Many people also looked at Han Fei with a strange look, and Han Fei suddenly pulled out the 9-foot-long ring broadsword and snorted. I hate you guys, who are always dawdling and using underhanded tactics behind my back the most. If you want to fight, come and fight me. If you don't dare, get lost and don't come again. With that, Han Fei strode tens of millions of kilometers away and appeared in the wilderness. He carried the broadsword on his shoulder and hooked his finger provocatively at Feng Yi's courtyard. Swish! 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 They were all heavenly talents, all proud and arrogant. Who could stand such provocation? Besides, judging from Han Fei's attack just now, he didn't seem to be crazy enough to kill them on the spot, which further boosted their confidence. All the strong masters stood proudly in the wilderness, and Feng Xingliu and Feng Qingqing led a group of heavenly talents of the Phoenix divine race, to watch the battle. Feng Xingliu shouted, "Remember, every time someone loses, laugh at and humiliate him." Feng Qingqing followed Feng Yu. "Sister, brother Han Fei won't really kill anyone, will he?" Feng Yi said indifferently, "Don't worry. He knows what he is doing. If he really wants to attack these people, it won't be at this moment. However, it won't be so easy for these people to escape unscathed." Feng Yi was particularly relaxed at the moment. If Han Fei were in the South Sea Divine Realm earlier, she would have done so long ago. In the wilderness, everyone's attention, including the Phoenix divine race and all the strong masters, was on this battle. Surrounded by enemies, Han Fei was not afraid at all. Instead, he spoke first and said proudly, "Who attacked first?" A peak-level carefree level cultivator snorted and walked out of the crowd. "Wang Han, if you lose, crawl between my legs, and I can spare your life." Han Fei grinned. "As expected of you. This suggestion is very good. When you do that later, you'd better tell me your family background. Such a glorious thing deserves to be recorded in history books." "Shut up. Kill him." This person didn't even announce his name, as if he was too disdainful of Han Fei to do that. In their eyes, the West Wilderness was just a barbaric land. Although the people of the West Wilderness were fierce, fierceness couldn't feed them, nor did it mean that they were strong. The strength this person showed was almost at the peak of the Tao proving level. Even if his combat power was not bad, he was at most at the peak of the Tao proving level. How could he be afraid of Han Fei? Divine technique, square monarch cauldron, suppress. In the sky, the great Tao turned into a cauldron, and the law of gravity pressed down. The seawater caved in, and the law of gravity formed a barrier of the world, trapping Han Fei. On the side, someone nodded slightly. The monarch cauldron of the Jade Cauldron sect has always been domineering. Qin Ba dares to attack first. Because of this, the barbarians of the West Wilderness may be good at killing, but how can they compare to the major factions of the Central Sea Divine Realm in terms of divine techniques? Wang Han is just courting death. Brother Ba, don't kill them. Otherwise, they will say that we don't follow the rules. Qin Ba snorted coldly. But we have to suppress his soul as a warning to others. The sea was collapsing non-stop. In the blink of an eye, it had collapsed 100 kilometers, and waves were surging in all directions. At this moment, clanking sounds rang in everyone's ears. That's not how you break all techniques with strength. You want to suppress me with a broken cauldron? Have you really been to the West Wilderness? All of a sudden, an unparalleled broadsword traversed the 3,000-kilometer wave and fought against the sky. Wherever the broadsword passed, the great Tao was shattered and the laws were destroyed. Sky-cleaving star-cutting knife, first move, star-slaying. Bang! Golden cracks appeared on the huge cauldron, and the monarch cauldron of the Jade Cauldron sect from the Central Sea divine realm was broken by one slash. Upon seeing this, Qingba's expression changed slightly. The laws on his body surged, and 9 more cauldrons appeared in the world again. Unparalleled 9 cauldrons, suppress. Suppress my ass. Take this. Han Fei's body turned red. The 9-foot-long ring broadsword broke through the Tao and slashed out for thousands of kilometers in an instant. Seeing the 9 cauldrons charging at him, he didn't retreat at all. Bang! 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 Puff! 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 The cauldron shattered one after another like broken stars, and Qingba vomited 9 mouthfuls of essence blood in a row, his face pale. In the next moment, the 9-foot-long ring broadsword had already slashed down from above his head, cutting him in half. Han Fei turned his broadsword aside. Ring! 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 The 9 knife rings collided and clanked. Many people felt a terrifying soul-crushing sound rush into their minds. Bang! Qingba, who was closest to Han Fei, exploded into pieces. As the 9-foot-long ring broadsword stirred, a large piece of Qingba's soul was torn apart, then corroded by the blood, and nearly half of it was annihilated. Ah! The painful soul cry resounded throughout the world. Hiss! The onlookers were all horrified, and Feng Xingliu and Feng Qingqing were the most shocked. They knew Han Fei's background very well. Han Fei had only practiced the 9-foot-long ring broadsword for a few days, but he had already become so strong? The strong masters of the Central Sea divine realm couldn't help but look solemn. In terms of the law of strength, Qingba was completely defeated. When the 9-foot-long ring broadsword slashed out, the power technique poured out like a waterfall, transforming power into a broadsword. This kind of law control far exceeded that of ordinary Tao provers. Sure enough, Feng Yu chose this person for a reason. Wang Han couldn't be weak. He could only be stronger than they imagined. Han Fei carried the broadsword, which glowed with red light and was full of killing intent. I'll give you 3 seconds to recover. Otherwise, I'll destroy the other half of your soul. Han Fei didn't mention killing him, but rather severing his soul. Qingba had to believe this. Almost half of his soul had been slain. If another half was slain, he would be finished. Who knew how long it would take for him to recover? Qingba had to recover. When his body regathered, his strength had dropped by more than half. At the moment he recovered, Han Fei's 9-foot-long ring broadsword had already been placed on his neck. Kneel. Qingba certainly wouldn't kneel. If he did, he would lose all his face in the sea realm. Feng Xingliu roared, kneel and crawl, between Wang Han's legs. Come on, shout. With me. Qingba, kneel. When I shout Qingba, you shout, kneel. Qingba. Kneel. Although Feng Xingliu ran amok, he never mistreated his family members or showed off to them. He even had a peaceful relationship with the children of concubines. They might not like him, but at least they didn't hate him much. At this moment, voices were rising and falling. Qingba roared at Han Fei, kill me if you have the guts. Han Fei sneered. It's simple for you to die. But you'll have to suffer the humiliation of being under me. Pfft. The 9-foot-long ring broadsword slapped back, and the law rolled directly, knocking Qingba to his knees. Then, the ring broadsword rang again, and Qin Ba's 7 orifices vomited blood and his eyes exploded. Han Fei strode forward and grabbed at the air, and Qin Ba slid past his crotch. Good, well done. Feng Xingliu put on a brilliant smile and clapped crazily. It felt so good. He really wished that he were the one standing there. He would have a try in the future. By the time Qin Ba realized what was going on, he had already slid past Han Fei's crotch. He couldn't help but spurt out blood and rage. Qin Ba was stunned. How could he return to the Jade Cauldron sect now? What would people think of him? Han Fei laughed and said, Qin Ba, right? I, Wang Han, never return empty-handed. Don't tell me you don't have an ultra-quality godly weapon. If the treasure you compensate me with is lower than this level, I can only sell you for money. Cough, cough. At this time, Feng Yu coughed and said, Hanin, this is just sparring, not the West Wilderness, no looting. The corner of Han Fei's mouth twitched when he heard that. He seemed to hesitate for a few seconds. Fine. Since Yu has spoken for you, I'll spare you this time. You're welcome to find me in the West Wilderness. Ha ha ha. Yu? The corners of Feng Yu's eyes twitched. Little junior brother is really vengeful. Why did he retaliate so soon? At this moment, someone said coldly, Wang Han, you've crossed the line. Han Fei raised his eyes and pointed his knife at the man. Why? Do you want to crawl between my legs too? This person was at the carefree level, and he hadn't just entered it, so he dared to speak. He could break the strength technique, but he wanted to lure Han Fei to challenge him so that people wouldn't think he was bullying the weak. Sure enough, Han Fei said, you're at the carefree level, right? There are at least 80 dead souls at the carefree level under my broadsword. Who do you think you are? Do you dare to take an attack from me? Humph, take one attack from you? What can you do even if I take 10 attacks from you? The man stepped forward. I am Yu Heng from the heaven-worshipping palace in the Central Sea Divine Realm. I'm at the carefree level. Do you still dare to challenge me? If you don't have the courage, you can admit defeat in public. Admit defeat? Ha 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 ha. Han Fei laughed crazily. The arrogance, unruliness, and rebellious personality of bandits were vividly highlighted. Even Feng Xingliu couldn't help but wonder if Han Fei was really from the West Wilderness. Look how murderous and ferocious he was. It was already a compliment to call him a bandit. Yu Heng sneered in his heart. Let's see if you can still laugh later. Yu Heng stepped forward. Wang Han, you should know your limits. If I've guessed right, you should be the leader of the Wildfire Mad Blade gang in the West Wilderness, right? Huh? Han Fei's laughter came to an abrupt halt. He pretended to acquiesce to his words and suddenly looked at Yu Heng. If I remember correctly, I haven't seen you before. Yu Heng sneered. In the ferocious God Valley of the West Wilderness, those who use the 9-foot-long ring broadsword are all lawless people. Except for one person, they all showed their true faces to others. That person is the leader of Wildfire Mad Blade gang. Everyone thought you were at the carefree level, but I didn't expect you to only be at the peak of the Tao proving level. Han Fei sneered. Do you look down upon the peak of the Tao proving level, or do you think I'm weak? Yu Heng said indifferently, I heard that you are best at fire techniques. But I didn't expect you to have mastered strength techniques too. However, if that's all you've got, I'm afraid you'll be doomed today. Yu Heng's words were meant for others to hear. He thought that he had exposed Han Fei's identity, but no one noticed that Feng Yu had a faint smile on her face. Kakik. Han Fei grinned ferociously and laughed creepily. So, do you think you can beat me? Yu Heng said proudly, you can have a try. Yu Heng stood proudly, and Han Fei certainly wouldn't be polite to him. He shouted loudly, since you want to die, let's see what qualifications you have to take my attack. Buzz. In the next moment, flames were rising around Han Fei, and the sun-like flames rose to the sky. Seeing this scene, everyone couldn't help but be in an uproar. Just as Yu Heng said, Wang Han was the leader of the Wildfire Mad Blade gang. Feng Yu, Feng Qingqing, and the others were at a loss. Feng Yu thought to himself, what? When did little junior brother cultivate fire techniques? Wait. This power is different from fire techniques. It belongs to the kind of extreme yang fire. Huh. Even the patriarch and Aunt Hua couldn't help but exclaim. Aunt Hua, patriarch, if I'm not mistaken, that's the fire of extreme yang. Right? The patriarch nodded. That's right. It's the extreme yang fire, and the purest kind of extreme yang fire. This is no longer an ordinary flame, but one of the strongest strange flames. But where did Han Fei get such a strange flame? Aunt Hua said, I'm more and more satisfied with Han Fei now. If Han Fei and you can really be a couple, the ancient phoenix god may reappear in our phoenix divine race. The patriarch sighed slightly. This kind of thing is hard to force. It's up to little Yu. Yu Heng had experienced fire techniques before, and he didn't care about power techniques either. This was because the Tao he took was a law-breaking Tao. Laws could be gathered and broken. Han Fei didn't use his broadsword this time. He simply flicked his finger and the tide turned into a knife. Yu Heng must have something to rely on to be so confident. But as long as he saw through his reliance, it would save him a lot of trouble to take him down with one attack. For an expert like Han Fei, even a flick of his finger carried an overwhelming might. Yu Heng frowned. Wang Han, are you humiliating me with such an attack? Yu Heng twisted his hands in the air, and the knife tide split into two and swept past him, unable to touch him at all. Huh. The law of disassembling? Han Fei could tell that when Yu Heng's hands moved, the power of the law in the knife tide was dispersed. Han Fei could feel that part of the law was broken, as if it had been disassembled from the inside. In order to achieve this, one's understanding of the law itself should be very strong. Just like his research on arrays, he could summon it with a thought. However, all things and laws were not the same. No one could instantly break down the laws. Rather, Yuan Hao mainly separated the natural laws that already existed within the tide. He used natural laws to break Han Fei's laws, and this was his expertise. Han Fei grinned. Heaven-worshipping palace, you think you, a mere carefree level cultivator, can disassemble the heavenly Tao? If you like to break laws, I'll let you. Clang, clang, clang. He brandished the 9-foot-long ring broadsword, and the rings of the broadsword vibrated as demonic sounds surged. Yu Heng extended his hand and slashed in the air, and the space in front of him turned into a vacuum, and the demonic sounds couldn't reach him at all. However, Han Fei grabbed the 9-foot-long ring broadsword and began to spin it. Sky-cleaving star-cutting knife, the sixth move, galaxy flowing. The sky-cleaving star-cutting knife that Feng Yu gave him was a 9-move. Divine technique, so it should be impossible to defeat Yu Heng with one single attack unless he used his real strength. However, since he had pretended to be a bandit from the West Wilderness, he couldn't use his real strength, which would expose his identity, so he had to break the rules by force. Han Fei began to spin faster and faster, and the surrounding tides were all attracted by the knife light and revolved around Han Fei like a flowing galaxy. In the void, Han Fei's voice was arrogant. What's so great about a carefree level cultivator? In my domain, I can kill him with a single slash. In the sea of hundreds of thousands of kilometers, the galaxy revolved as if turning into a huge gyro, which was whipped and spun crazily. Seeing this scene, many people retreated because the wind caused by the gyro contained a large number of knife beams and the power of extreme yang fire. Buzz. Yu Heng's face changed slightly. Such a magnificent and continuous attack? There was no time to break Han Fei's laws. He could only break Han Fei's body first. At that moment, he pressed forward under the violent tide gyro, holding his hands horizontally in front of him and constantly patting his left and right sides. However, this time it was clearly beyond his expectations. This was because he found that the knife light could be shattered, and he could block the power technique, but the fire technique was abnormally condensed, as if he couldn't shake it at all. Puff. 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 When he was 100 kilometers away from Han Fei, blood oozed from the corner of his mouth. Han Fei was a little puzzled. Is this all he's got? Can't he even break my fire technique? At this moment, Han Fei spun the 9-foot-long ring broadsword and slashed at the void, and the entire gyro wrapped Yu Heng. His flesh and blood were dissipating at a visible speed, but his bones were still holding on. Crack. His heavenly Dao jade marrow bone shattered one after another like a piece of meat falling into a shredder. Everybody was shocked to see that. Feng Xingliu didn't understand it either. Instead, he shouted, "How dare you brag with your meager strength? You're not even as good as Qin Ba." Most people didn't know how Yu Heng felt, but they were all speechless. Just now, he was bragging as if he was very strong. Who knew that he would be minced before he could even touch Wang Han? Someone was lost for words. It's such a disgrace for the heaven-worshipping palace. They're all theoretical people who talk big but are actually useless. Someone sneered. I don't know where he got the confidence to go up to challenge Wang Han. After all, Qin Ba managed to suppress Wang Han for a moment. But this one, isn't he just courting death? With this strength, how did he cultivate to the carefree level? With such strength, I feel that I can also fight him. There's no difficulty at all. Han Fei didn't kill this person either, but he wouldn't let him off easily. He chuckled and said, "Don't you like breaking laws? Why don't you break your own law first?" Pfft. He shattered half of the soul of Yu Heng with a single slash. Han Fei laughed wildly. I said you were useless. Recover, or I'll cut off your soul. Yu Heng was not Qin Ba. He immediately turned to a person in the crowd for help. Li Chaoxing, help me, I'll pay you an ultra-quality godly weapon and heaven-worshipping palace's friendship. In the crowd, a man in black replied indifferently and acquired spiritual treasure. You fine. Han Fei didn't stop him. Instead, he suddenly turned his head and looked at the black-clothed man. A black flute appeared in the man's hand. As the flute sounded, the waves around Han Fei instantly turned into a quaint cage. Someone was surprised. Li Chaosheng took action. This is the Mirage Divine technique, dream reality. Huh? The rule-type illusion technique that can turn illusions into reality? In history, there are no more than 100 powerhouses who have comprehended this technique even in the Mirage sect. Wang Han's combat power is unparalleled, but how can his mental strength compare to the Mirage? The West Wilderness is a barbaric place after all. Soul-killing techniques have always been the weakness of the strong in the West Wilderness. Wang Han is bound to lose. It depends on how well Li Chaosheng has mastered this technique. At this moment, even Feng Yu frowned slightly. Under normal circumstances, her junior brother was certainly not afraid of this technique. However, without revealing his identity, it was extremely difficult to break free from this rule-type divine technique. Feng Qingqing asked, "Sister, is this the legendary rule-type divine art that can materialize deities?" Feng Yu nodded slightly. Yes, but Li Chaosheng is only at the carefree level. It's still a question how much he can materialize. Interesting. Han Fei grinned and said, "It's a good divine technique, but how much power can you materialize?" Li Chaosheng's soul voice resounded, "Why don't you have a try?" On Han Fei's shoulder, the 9-foot-long ring broadswords vibrated, and the 9 ring broadswords clanked. As the mystic sounds collided, the surrounding void rumbled. Except for the sky-cleaving sword, no one could do anything. When the huge sword fell 100 kilometers away, Han Fei stomped on the sea and broke through the so-called cage. The 9-foot-long ring broadsword glowed with red light, and the knife rings kept ringing. Sky-cleaving star-cutting knife, the 8th move, blood broadsword sky breaking. At this moment, in the Phoenix divine race, Feng Yu's 5th uncle looked at this scene in shock. This brat Wang Han, has he really only learned the technique for 7 days? But he has already practiced the sky-cleaving star cutting knife to such an extent? Feng Yu's 2nd uncle said indifferently, "This shows that his knife technique is already superb, and it also shows that his own knife technique might even surpass the sky-cleaving star-cutting knife technique. However, old 5, you've got a successor in your technique." As soon as the broadsword shot out, the sky was dyed red. Swords and broadswords collided, and the huge sword falling from the sky shattered inch by inch. Han Fei said disdainfully, "In the end, it's not your own sword, let alone your sword Dao. No matter how real an illusion is, it's just an illusion." Li Chaosheng's pupils were constricted. Without a word, he immediately played the black flute, but this time, Li Chaosheng's fingers were stained with blood, and blood gushed into the black flute. The gigantic phantom of a god appeared in front of him. Hiss! A projection of a god? Well, Li Chaosheng is only at the peak of the carefree level. How can he summon a divine projection? No, this is a statue, not a projection. It only contains a wisp of divine suppressing pressure, with at most 1 or 2 blows, and it's far from the strength of a god. If it's really a projection of a god, Li Chaosheng will definitely be ranked first on the god roll. Divine suppressing pressure is already terrifying enough. This is a god's suppressing pressure. Han Fei frowned slightly. He sensed a trace of the dignity of eldest senior brother he sensed during the gathering of the Void Temple. He wanted to see the true appearance of the divine statue, but his eyes were blurry and he couldn't see it clearly. Haha. Han Fei suddenly laughed. Everyone was puzzled. How could this guy still laugh? In front of the statue? Han Fei smiled, so did Feng Yu. She breathed a sigh of relief and said casually, still trash. This time, Han Fei didn't draw his broadsword but stepped on the air and faced the statue. The statue raised its hand and slapped at Han Fei, causing exclamations. But Han Fei laughed out loud. Ha ha ha, I'm a man who wants to become a bandit. God. How can you suppress me if you're not a true god? The statue slapped down, but it brushed past Han Fei's body. How is that possible? Someone was shocked. This is a rule-type divine technique that can turn dreams into reality. Why wasn't the rule triggered? What method did Wang Han use? Han Fei sneered. What shitty kind of rule-type divine art? The so-called rule is nothing but true if you believe it to be true, false if you believe it to be false. Has no one noticed the loopholes in this divine art? Seeing that the statue couldn't hit Han Fei, Li Chaoxing's face changed drastically. He tried to kill Han Fei with the power of his soul, but in the next second, the 9-foot-long ring broadsword smashed his head. Bang! Why did you just admit that you're trash? With that, Han Fei grabbed Li Chaoxing's body and made them slide past his crotch. Yu Heng, who had just recovered and was about to slip away, was also grabbed by Han Fei and stuffed under his legs. Why are you running? If you're a man, take it. Yu Heng was filled with grief and indignation. He cursed in his heart. Was there such a pervert in the West Wilderness? Why hadn't he heard of him before? Suddenly, Han Fei's face changed slightly, and a giant ape jumped over from hundreds of millions of kilometers away. Wow! A Vajra divine ape? Yang Zhan is here? Haha, Wang Han. The first general at the carefree level of the ancient demon race is here. Let's see how arrogant you can still be. On the shoulder of the Vajra divine ape, a man in white glanced at Li Chaoxing and the others, then looked at Han Fei, and said coldly, shall we fight? Han Fei was about to speak, when Feng Yu continued, Yang Zhan, I heard that you have challenged the top talents in the South Sea all the way and remain undefeated. Do you think that there is no one capable in our South Sea divine realm? Yang Zhan said indifferently, weakness is weakness. Feng Yu changed the silence from before. In the next moment, her fighting intent soared. Wang Han won't fight you in this battle. I'll represent the heavenly talents of the South Sea to fight you. Yang Zhan had been amazed by Han Fei's strength, but since Feng Yu represented the heavenly talents of the South Sea divine realm, he had to accept her challenge. Okay. Because of Yang Zhan's arrival, Feng Yu immediately took over the battle. It was not that she didn't believe in Han Fei's strength, but that there was no need to expose more of Han Fei's strength. In today's battle, Han Fei's identity as a bandit from the West Wilderness had been known, and so had the identity of the leader of the Wildfire Mad Blade gang. And his combat power was obvious to everyone. He fought and won against opponents above his level and even broke the peerless divine technique of the Mirage sect. If anyone present still dared to underestimate Han Fei, they would be fools. Feng Fei challenged him and claimed that she represented the South Sea divine realm. What she said was reasonable, so Yang Zhan could only give up on Han Fei and accept Feng Fei's challenge. Han Fei carried the 9-foot-long ring broadsword and looked around at everyone. Who else wants to spar with me? This day every month, you can challenge me. If you think my realm is too high for you, you can fight me. After the God-fearing ancient land opens and our strength is equal. As I said before, it's not that I look down on you, but you are all trash. Shoal. What a braggart. Don't think you're invincible just because you've won a few games. In a few months, I'll definitely come to challenge you. Yang Zhan glanced at Han Fei, and Han Fei looked back with a faint smile, pretending to be full of fighting spirit. He even clicked his tongue and said, "To be honest, you shouldn't have accepted this challenge." Humph. Yang Zhan ignored Han Fei. The confidence of a strong master made him fearless of any enemy. Feng Yu said, "All right, Hanin, you're dismissed." Someone swept across the South Sea. I can't just sit by and do nothing. Tisk, tisk. Han Fei carried his broadsword and left the battlefield. Feng Xingliu immediately came close. Good job, but you shouldn't have listened to my sister. Those guys are so rich. You should rob them. Han Fei said, "Keep a low profile. So many people are listening. After all, this is your territory. I should give face to your race. But it's a different story in the God-fearing ancient land." Han Fei and Feng Xingliu blatantly discussed robbing in front of everyone. Although everyone looked awful, they didn't dare to provoke him at this moment. They just wanted to find a way to destroy the sky when they entered the God-fearing ancient land. At this moment, Feng Yu came to the arena and said to Yang Zhan, "Yang Zhan, you are the first general of the ancient demon race, not the Central Sea divine realm. I'd like to use you to get on the god roll." Yang Zhan said, "Then let's fight." Next door, Han Fei nudged Feng Xingliu and asked, "Is this guy an expert on the god roll?" "That's right. He's 5th on the god roll of the carefree level. Otherwise, why do you think he dares to challenge heavenly talents everywhere?" Han Fei couldn't help but wonder, since when is there a god roll for monarchs? Feng Qingqing said, "The Tao-proving level and carefree level both have a god roll, but because of the fast change of realms, it's only circulated in a small circle. However, these god rolls are actually not as important as the one for sky-opening realm, because many monarchs won't participate in the competition. So that's it. If that's the case, I'm afraid this so-called number 1 general might not be all that impressive." Feng Qingqing said, "There are always stronger people out there. There are still many strong masters in the Central Sea divine realm. This guy only made a name recently, but his strength is definitely no weaker than the strong masters on the god roll in the past." Feng Qingqing added, "Yang Zhan challenged the experts on the god roll 5 times and won every time. That's why he's ranked 5th. It's said that the 4th place on the god roll has disappeared, and Chen Fengchao, who's ranked 3rd, doesn't accept any challenge, so he remains 5th. Han Fei grinned. "I'm afraid he'll lose 5th place today." It was at this moment that Yang Zhan took the lead to launch an attack. He brandished his spear, which was surrounded by dragon-like law patterns. Feng Yu was burning with flames all over. She raised her hand slightly, and a flame broadsword appeared a foot in front of her. Roar! The dragon body hit Feng Yu in an instant, and the red dress fluttered, and the black hair fluttered. The audience took a deep breath, because not only did Feng Yu not move at all, but the dragon's shadow also collided with the flame broadsword, directly splitting itself in half. This terrifying blow was actually broken by this blow. Yang Zhan didn't think it was a big deal. After all, Feng Yu had won first place on the heaven roll with only one battle. Although she had never challenged the cultivators on the god roll, it didn't mean that she didn't have the strength to do so. The spear and the broadsword collided in the blink of an eye. The speed was so fast that flames filled the sky. In just a few seconds, the two had fought nearly 10,000 times. The impact formed ripples that spread in all directions. Feng Qingqing asked, "Brother Wang Han, can my sister win?" Han Fei smiled and said, "Of course she can. At present, it seems that the battle is quite intense, but in fact, they're just testing each other's ability to fight head-on." Many people were also looking at Han Fei. Hearing Han Fei say that this was just a test, many people were surprised. They wanted to marry Feng Yu not only to get a powerful wife, but also because they valued the Phoenix divine race's power. As for how strong Feng Yu was, they hadn't thought about it. But at this moment, they seemed to have a clear understanding of her real strength. Yang Zhan's eyes flickered with brilliance. She didn't expect that Feng Fei was actually quite strong. He knew that the first place on the heaven roll shouldn't be weak, but it hadn't been long since Feng Fei entered the monarch realm, so she should be no match for him at all. In just a few hundred years, you're already approaching the peak of the carefree level? Feng Yu said, "Hundreds of years are not short. Only trash has to dawdle in such a simple realm for tens of thousands of years." Yang Zhan licked the corner of his mouth. Well said. The two fought for 30,000 rounds. After confirming that they couldn't defeat the other party with normal means, they separated. A look of appreciation appeared on Yang Zhan's face as he said proudly, "As far as I know, none of the heavenly talents of the South Sea can be my equal in close combat. You're the first." "Not bad." Feng Yu said, "You're not bad either. I heard that your companion spirit is an ancient exotic Vajra divine ape. Why don't you show it to me? I want to see how strong this monkey is." Yang Zhan nodded. "As you wish." Roar. The diamond divine ape appeared again, which reminded Han Fei of his teacher, Beast King. Apes were very good at close combat and were violent. Not to be outdone, Feng Yu waved her hands and with a swoosh, behind her, a fire phoenix rose to the sky. Divine technique, phoenix dancing in the 9 heavens. However, when Han Fei saw the phoenix bird's flamboyant attack, he lost interest. Feng Yu was acting, and her acting was too fake. This flashy flame technique was definitely not the phoenix dancing in the 9 heavens. Besides, the phoenix's slashes seemed ferocious, but it only slightly suppressed the giant King Kong ape. While the companion spirits were fighting, Feng Fei and Yang Zhan were fighting fiercely in the sky. One of them was using a magnificent divine technique, fire dyeing the sky red, and there was even a fire god Dharma idol looking awesome. But Han Fei knew that the form was greater than combat power. Feng Yu seemed to be trying her best, but she was actually pretending. Hearing the exclamations next to him, Han Fei couldn't help but blush. No wonder Feng Yu hid her identity so well. The others would only think that she was a genius, but at the same time, they would also find many weaknesses from her attacks, thinking that was the embodiment of Feng Yu's immaturity. For example, Han Fei heard someone exclaim, as expected of the unique bloodline of the Phoenix divine race. This brilliant astronomical phenomenon is probably comparable to the glory of the ancient divine Phoenix. Someone added, "That's right." At this moment, Feng Yu is still a little immature in controlling the fire phoenix. If she can fully show the power of the fire phoenix, I'm afraid even Yang Zhan won't be able to resist her. Feng Xingliu, on the other hand, was quite excited, muttering, "Humph, one day, I'll be able to create such a magnificent astronomical phenomenon, to overawe everyone too." Alas! Han Fei patted Feng Xingliu's shoulder, making him look puzzled. Feng Yu and Yang Zhan fought fiercely for nearly an hour. In the end, Feng Yu forcibly unleashed her fourth form in battle and narrowly won. Han Fei was speechless, but the audience was all amazed. He wondered who had boasted Yang Zhan's strength so much. If they really fought, Feng Yu could beat the hell out of Yang Zhan in half an hour. At this moment, Yang Zhan was covered in blood. What a heavenly talent of the Phoenix divine race. No wonder you're so arrogant. I'll definitely come back and fight you again someday. Feng Yu pretended to be pale. I look forward to that day. After Yang Zhan left, Feng Yu glanced at the audience and said, I'm not feeling well today, so I can't entertain you anymore. Please leave. Han Fei looked at the knife and swept across the crowd. Does anyone still want to fight? Someone snorted. Miss Feng Yu, you seem to be exhausted. You'd better take a rest first. We'll come again next time. Someone simply ignored Han Fei. That's right. I'll visit you again someday. Someone said, enough is enough. We are not rude people. Let's call it a day for now and come back next time. All of them fled in a dignified manner. Today's battle between Feng Yu and Yang Zhan would definitely rewrite the god roll, and no one present was qualified to marry a powerhouse on the god roll. Therefore, this kind of battle was no longer necessary. Even if there were. Next time, it wouldn't be them coming. After a while, in Feng Yu's yard, Feng Yu looked ruddy and refreshed. Little junior brother, how was my performance? Han Fei was lost for words. Your acting is terrible. Feng Yu didn't care at all. That's what you think, but look at them. They're all amazed. Who can tell the truth? Han Fei asked, Senior sister, have you been fooling everyone with such poor acting skills all these years? Feng Yu immediately put on a straight face. How can you say that? I did my best. Look, I used all my secret techniques, divine techniques, endowed abilities, Dharma idol, and nature spiritual treasures. Feng Yu retorted, anyway, others can't tell. You can tell, because you expect too much from me. So you take it for granted that I was acting. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. Alas. Senior sister, tell me the truth. Did you use 30% of your strength to beat Yang Zhan? Feng Yu's face turned black. I used 70% of my combat power. Han Fei was lost for words. Cut the crap. How can you even fool yourself? Han Fei didn't believe a word that Feng Yu said. Feng Yu didn't use her fifth form. Even if she did, she hadn't shown her comprehensive strength. Therefore, Han Fei was inclined to believe that Feng Yu actually only used 20% of her combat power. If that was the case, it would be terrifying. This meant that Feng Yu was several times stronger than he had imagined. Although it was still a little weaker than his strongest state, the point was, did Feng Fei really have no trump cards? He didn't think so. Han Fei said, Senior sister, if you really become the first place on the god roll, will anyone dare to propose marriage to you? Feng Yu said, it's useless. If I don't become a great monarch, everything will be meaningless. The reason why I went to the Central Sea Divine Realm and won first place on the heaven roll is to get rid of the predicament of the female cultivators of the major forces. But when I came to the Central Sea Divine Realm, I discovered some unknown secrets. There are far more strong masters in the sea realm than I imagined. They are all bloodline-oriented. As long as they can give birth to children with stronger bloodlines, they will do whatever it takes. Feng Yu, who knows? In my opinion, if the women of the big clans want to get out of this predicament, they have to become stronger, so strong that no one dares to touch them. Han Fei asked, but won't there be more people coming to propose marriage too? You now that you're on the god roll? Feng Yu said, I have no choice. I have to make some people give up. As long as I delay it until the god-ferrying ancient land opens and the woman in the miracle forest lures some away, I'll go to the Sea of Stars. I won't come back until I become invincible. Han Fei asked, won't they put pressure on the Phoenix divine race? Feng Yu said, then my family will just say that I'm cultivating in seclusion to break through to the immortal level. Anyway, they won't dare to put too much pressure on the Phoenix divine race for the time being. Han Fei said, actually, it doesn't matter if my identity is exposed, right? If eldest senior brother takes action, who dares to pressure the Phoenix divine race? Little junior brother, you are thinking too simply. Our void temple is strong, but not all the people in the sea realm are afraid of the void temple. Haven't you exposed your identity? But you're still being chased, aren't you? Besides, the other party is just exerting pressure. You can take revenge on one or two families, but can you kill all the families? Yes, I can. Feng Yu. Feng Yu had forgotten that Han Fei was such a killer. However, Feng Yu reminded him, too much killing is not good for your passing the divine tribulation. It will cause hellfire to burn. Han Fei thought that Feng Fei probably didn't know that the thunder note ancient temple had the hellfire burning trial, so he said with a smile, that's better than having someone ride on top of your head. After leaving Feng Yu's yard, Han Fei began to cultivate in seclusion. Feng Yu was determined to become a great monarch, but he was different. He didn't have as much time as her. The sooner he became a great monarch, the sooner he could save Shiman Lingyan. A month of seclusion was equivalent to more than 40 years. He was only a step away from the peak of the carefree level. During this time, many people came to propose marriage or challenge Han Fei. After 2 months of seclusion, he had reached the peak of the carefree level. He still needed some energy crystals to stabilize his realm. After cultivating in seclusion for 3 months, Han Fei went to the nest of the ominous creatures outside the chaotic fire domain with the distanceless gate again. The 7th divine pill grew bigger again. In the 4th month, on Han Fei's origin star. At this moment, he was already at the peak of the carefree level, and his strength was worlds apart from when he had just proven Tao. On his origin star, Han Fei walked onto the green jade stone bridge, without hesitation. Han Fei thought for a moment and took the lead to walk on the path of extreme yang fire. For some reason, the chaotic spiritual fruits planted on both sides of this place weren't ripe yet, and the demon purification pot still couldn't see their information. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. When Han Fei walked more than 2/3 of the way, he felt that the fire was overwhelming. Is this all the peak level carefree level can do? The gate at the end of the road was already very close. Han Fei thought that he had weathered through the burning of hellfire, so he forcibly walked forward for a while. When he finally felt that even his body was almost being incinerated, he retreated from the green jade stone bridge. I almost finished 80% of that path. What a pity. If I can break through to the immortal level, I might be able to complete this path. Hanfei was not in a hurry to jump under the bridge and be baptized by the river. Instead, he walked the path of extreme yang and the path of extreme cold repeatedly. Outside, time slowly passed. Finally, after staying in his origin star for nearly 500 years and comprehending the law of extreme cold and the law of extreme yang to a deeper level, he was finally ready to be baptized by the river. Clash. Hanfei jumped off the green jade stone bridge and sank into the water. He clearly felt the power of law surging into his body. Sure enough, the water under the green jade stone bridge was as powerful as ever. Since it could help him refine the heavenly Tao jade marrow bone overnight, it could also help him refine his law body. For a moment, the power of laws of strength, yin-yang law, spatial law, gravity law, time law, lightning law, and so on surged into his body one after another. Hanfei could even feel an invisible barrier that seemed to be broken through at any time. However, just as Hanfei was looking forward to refining his law body, the power of laws in the river slowly disappeared. Huh? What's going on? Hanfei hurriedly entered the space where the green jade stone bridge was and jumped into the river again. However, still no law power surged into his body. Is it possible that I've absorbed all the law powers? He was only one step away from the immortal level. How could he stop at this moment? That's not right. I once saw the great Tao fuse into the river. It's the same with the laws. This means that the great Tao and laws in the river are actually accumulated by me, not produced by the river. After understanding that, Hanfei came out of the river. This breakthrough to the immortal level was only half accomplished, which was equivalent to taking half a step onto the immortal level. The reason was simple. His improvement speed was too fast and he didn't accumulate enough laws. In order to obtain the power of laws, he had to absorb it from the world and slowly trigger the laws of the world. This was bound to be a long process. It might take hundreds or thousands of years outside his origin star to slowly absorb the laws. The more laws one needed to absorb, the longer it would take. However, the primordial star tree once mentioned that as long as a law was completely branded on one's body, one could achieve a breakthrough from the carefree level to the immortal level. If that was the case, it wouldn't be difficult. In the battle outside the Godfiend Sea, many strong masters were killed, and dozens of immortals were killed by him. Their origin stars were still in his hands. It was 10 or 100 times faster to absorb the power of laws from their origin stars than to absorb from nature. 2 years passed. On this day, Hanfei was soaking under the green jade stone bridge. After 2 years, Hanfei had reached the immortal level with the law of strength. His flesh, blood, and heavenly Tao jade essence bone had been completely branded with the power of the law, and only his soul hadn't been branded with the law. It couldn't be helped. The power of his soul was too powerful and far exceeded that of ordinary people. And the time was too short. Although he had an immortal level origin star, the law of strength he could obtain was limited. Therefore, he was still a step away from the immortal level. Phew. It's time to help Feng Yu fight again. Buzz. As soon as Hanfei appeared in the courtyard of Feng Xingliu, he saw that Feng Yu, and Feng Qingqing seemed to have been waiting here for a long time. Han Fei asked in surprise, huh? Are you waiting for me? Feng Xingliu hurriedly said, we're waiting for you. The God-ferrying ancient land will open in 3 days at most. Han Fei frowned slightly. So fast? He had planned to ripen the 7th divine pill before the God-ferrying ancient land opened. Now that the 7th divine pill had taken shape and turned red, it would ripen after 2 hunts at most. Feng Xingliu, it's been 3 years. I thought it would open last month, but it didn't open until the day before yesterday. While Han Fei was talking to Feng Xingliu, Feng Yu looked at Han Fei weirdly. Feng Qingqing was quite perceptive and couldn't help but ask, Sister, why are you looking at brother Han Fei like that? Hearing this, Han Fei and Feng Xingliu both looked over. However, Feng Yu didn't blush at all. Instead, she frowned slightly. Are you trying to break through to the immortal level? Feng Xingliu was shocked. How long has it been? You've only reached the monarch realm more than 600 years ago, and now you're already going to enter the immortal level? Feng Qingqing's eyes widened too. So fast? Han Fei looked at Feng Yu and sensed that the fire law on Feng Yu seemed to be stronger than usual. Han Fei smiled. Aren't you trying to break through to the immortal level too? Feng Yu's face was slightly dark. But I forget it, let's go. In any case, I won't be able to make a breakthrough before the God-ferrying ancient land opens. Feng Xingliu hurriedly said, alas. Do you think I should transcend the monarch tribulation before I go there? Feng Yu scoffed. You wish. 3 days is not even enough for you to consolidate your foundation. You can have a try when you come back. Feng Qingqing said, we've already been slower than others by several days. By the time you make a breakthrough, the God-ferrying ancient land will have already opened, and we won't be able to get in. 3 days later. The God-ferrying ancient land was located in the Central Sea area of the South Sea Divine Realm. Every time the God-ferrying ancient land opened, a black ring would appear within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. As the ring slowly rose until it disappeared into the sky, the people in the ring would go to a primeval land. It was said that the God-ferrying ancient land used to be the place where countless great monarchs transcended the divine tribulation in the primordial era. Why the great monarchs chose to transcend the divine tribulation in one place was unknown. The only guess was that the geographical environment of the God-ferrying ancient land was special, which could increase the probability of transcending the divine tribulation. Of course, no matter how the probability increased, many people still died in the divine tribulation. However, they had many spiritual treasures that were not destroyed by the divine tribulation but scattered in the God-ferrying ancient land. Feng Qingqing, the encyclopedia of the Phoenix divine race, was telling the history of the God-ferrying ancient land. Suddenly, Han Fei asked, since it's a place to transcend the divine tribulation, why can only perfected star transformation realm cultivators enter it? This is clearly a huge gap of a realm, almost an insurmountable gap. Feng Qingqing said, in the primeval age, the world collapsed, and the God-ferrying ancient land also shattered at that time, turning into an independent world. At the beginning, monarchs could enter it, but later, in the age of gods, many gods from the South Sea divine realm made such a seal to nurture junior cultivators, restricting the strength of the people who entered it. Since the death of the gods, this is the first time the God-ferrying ancient land has opened. It has been 390,000 years. Feng Yu said, it's been so many years. No one knows if anything has happened. In the God-ferrying ancient land. Little Qingqing, don't run around on this trip. Stay by my side the entire time. We'll be there in half an hour. After half an hour, Han Fei and the others did see heavenly talents coming from all directions. After another 100 seconds or so, Han Fei's face suddenly changed. Feng Yu asked, "What's wrong?" Han Fei frowned and took out a black jade pendant that was flashing non-stop. Feng Xingliu asked curiously, "What's this?" "You still keep a mid-quality godly weapon?" Feng Qingqing said, "It's glowing. Does it sense something?" Han Fei became solemn, because the yin-yang dual pendant shouldn't flash at this time. The vast ocean navigator clearly indicated that Xia Xiachan's reincarnation body was in the West Wilderness. Han Fei said, "Guard me. Allow no one to pry." Then, Han Fei stomped and hundreds of layers of arrays appeared. Then, he took out the vast ocean navigator and prayed in his heart, "Where is Xia Xiachan's reincarnation body?" But in the next moment, Han Fei's heart was pounding. Did she come to the South Sea divine realm from the West Wilderness? When Han Fei removed the concealment array, he looked solemn and had some guesses in his heart. Xia Xiachan's reincarnation body must have returned to the South Sea divine realm from the West Wilderness, because the God-ferrying ancient land attracted many heavenly talents from the sea realm. This also meant that Xia Xiachan's strength was at least in the perfected star transformation realm. Those who could enter the God-ferrying ancient land were actually all strong masters. Their strength had been suppressed to the perfected star transformation realm, but those below the perfected star transformation realm probably didn't dare to enter. Feng Yu asked, "What's the use of your jade pendant?" Feng Yu was asking Han Fei, but suddenly, the jade pendant shone brightly. Immediately afterward, the void distorted, and several figures appeared in front of everyone. A woman in a dark green dress appeared in front of Han Fei and the others. This woman's waist was slender and she was wearing a beautiful gauze dress. She was dignified and gorgeous, but she was too cold. Her strength was already at the peak of the carefree level, followed by 2 carefree level cultivators. And this woman was holding a glowing jade pendant in her hand. Is this Xia Xiachan's reincarnation body? Han Fei couldn't help but look puzzled. Peak of the carefree level? Was Xia Xiachan's cultivation talent so high after reincarnation body? Had she reached the peak of the carefree level so quickly? Although eldest senior brother said that Xia Xiachan would join a super force, this talent was too terrifying. Yi Qingchan? Feng Yu frowned slightly and then looked at the jade slip in Han Fei and Yi Qingchan's hands. Obviously, there was a connection between them. However, little junior brother had never been to the South Sea divine realm. How could he have anything to do with Yi Qingchan? Yi Qingchan? The Holy Lady of the Miracle Forest? This was not the first time Han Fei had heard this name. As early as a few years ago, the Miracle Forest had widely invited heroes from all over the world to attend a joust they held for their Holy Lady to find a husband. But Han Fei didn't care about this matter, because he had never thought that Yi Qingchan was Xia Xiachan's reincarnation body. After all, the vast ocean navigator had clearly pointed out that Xia Xiachan's reincarnation body was in the West Wilderness. However, the vast ocean navigator showed that Xia Xiachan's reincarnation body had returned from the West Wilderness, and Yi Qingchan happened to be holding the yin-yang dual pendant, which made Han Fei believe that the person In front of him was Xia Shechan's reincarnation body. Or rather, Yi Qingchan went to the West Wilderness and didn't return until recently. Yi Qingchan also frowned slightly when she saw Feng Yu. However, when she saw the black jade pendant in Han Fei's hand, she couldn't help but ask, "Where did you get your jade pendant?" Han Fei didn't expect to meet Xia Shechan's reincarnation body under such circumstances. He paused and said, "This question is a little complicated to explain. We need to talk alone." "How dare you? The Holy Lady of our miracle forest is now the center of attention. How can she meet an unknown person like you alone?" Before Yi Qingchan could speak, the two female cultivators behind her had stood up. This concerned Yi Qingchan's reputation. Feng Xingliu roared, "Are you blind, aunt? Don't you know me? He's my brother. How dare you call him a nobody?" Yi Qingqing nodded. "Yes, this is my brother-in-law." Cough, cough. Han Fei hurriedly coughed. "Well, little Qingqing, don't talk nonsense." Feng Qingqing widened her eyes and looked at Han Fei. "What does brother Han Fei mean?" Feng Yu frowned slightly, looked at Han Fei, and said to him via voice transmission, "Little junior brother, have you fallen for this woman? Our show is not over yet." Han Fei coughed softly. "I'm saying, little Qingqing, keep a low profile." Yi Qingchan asked, casually, "Are you Wang Han from the West Wilderness?" Han Fei nodded slightly. "It's me." Yi Qingchan asked again, "Tell me how you got the black jade pendant, and I'll leave immediately." Han Fei shook his head slightly and put on a smile. "As I said, we need to talk alone." "Okay." "No, Holy Lady. Holy Lady, this person's background is unknown." Feng Yu snorted coldly. "Shut up, you two. He's my fiancé, and you say his background is unknown? Do you want to be beaten up?" After all, Feng Yu and Han Fei were acting, and the yin-yang dual pendants seemed to have some intrinsic connection. Otherwise, little junior brother wouldn't have tried to draw a clear line between them. Buzz. At this moment, the area suddenly began to shake, and some small vortexes suddenly appeared in the sea. Immediately, a guardian behind Yi Qingchan said, "Holy Lady, the god-ferrying ancient land is about to open. Don't be tricked now. Even if the black jade pendant is strange, it won't be too late to talk about it after the god ferrying ancient land matter is over." Yi Qingchan slightly frowned, seeming reluctant. "Wang Han, I will come to you again." Han Fei nodded. "Okay." Yi Qingchan took a deep look at Han Fei, then turned around and left. However, Feng Yu asked, "What's the story behind this jade pendant?" Han Fei hesitated for a moment and said, "If I've guessed right, Yi Qingchan. Maybe my wife's reincarnation body." "Huh?" Feng Yu couldn't help but exclaim. Feng Xingliu and Feng Qingqing immediately looked at her. "Feng Xingliu, is there something you two are hiding from us?" Han Fei, "We are brothers. How can you keep it from me?" Han Fei said impatiently, "There are some things you don't need to know. Just focus on snatching treasures in the god-ferrying ancient land." Feng Xingliu curled his lips. "Han Fei, it's not that I want to criticize you. But don't cheat on Feng Yu right in her face. I can't stand on your side this time." Bang! Slapping Feng Xingliu into flying, Feng Yu continued, "Your wife who gave birth to a child but couldn't give birth to the baby because she wasn't strong enough?" Han Fei nodded slightly. "Eldest senior brother helped me with this matter. The Inyang dual pendants are a keepsake between us. However, I still have doubts, so I need to verify by spending some time with her alone. Feng Yu asked, then wouldn't our show be ruined? Han Fei said, let's see how it goes first. Let's go. If worst comes to worst, you can go to the Sea of Stars after the God-ferrying ancient land trial. Anyway, with your speed, you should be able to reach the immortal level soon. Feng Yu sighed slightly. That's the only way. But why does your wife have to be her? I find her annoying. Han Fei. At this moment, the sea was surging violently, and Han Fei and the others rushed across the void. Finally, after more than 50 seconds, they saw a black space appear on the sea. Feng Qingqing said, that was close. Fortunately, we made it in time. Feng Xingliu, just count on me. Feng Qingqing scoffed. I'll be glad if you don't get held down and beaten up. I'd better stay with my sister. Humph. When Han Fei and the others came to the central area, it was already overcrowded. It could be said that hundreds of millions of strong masters had already gathered here. Why are there so many people here? When Han Fei saw so many people, he was stunned. Why are there even people in the early stages of the sky-opening realm? Feng Yu said, it's said that the God-ferrying ancient land is not very dangerous. There are many areas that are relatively safe. Most people here are just here to try their luck. It's fine if they're lucky, but if they aren't, it doesn't matter. Feng Qingqing added, but there are no more than 1/5 of the places that can be explored in the God-ferrying ancient land, so they are actually not on the same path as us. The crowd was mixed, and everyone was looking forward to the opening of the God-ferrying ancient land. When Feng Yu and the others arrived, someone immediately recognized them. Look, it's Feng Yu of the Phoenix Divine Race and Wang Han. Hiss. Is this Feng Yu who defeated the first general of the ancient demon race? She's really extraordinary. She's already in 5th place on the God roll. What do you think? Is the one carrying the 9-foot-long ring broadsword Wang Han? He looks very ordinary. He's quite strong. In the past few years, there have been people challenging him. So far, no one can beat him. So what? The bandits of the West Wilderness are notorious. I really don't know why a genius like Feng Yu would fall in love with such a person. Hush. Do you want to die? Do you think they can't hear your voice? Transmission? There are so many people here. Is he eavesdropping? At this moment, Han Fei suddenly turned his head and looked at the person with a cruel smile. The person's face turned pale and his body turned cold. He felt that he was doomed. On Feng Yu's side, Han Fei sighed. There are so many people here. How many treasures can there be in the God-ferrying ancient land? Feng Yu said, in the ancient times, picking up a stone on the side of the road was a treasure for them. Besides, opportunities depend on fate. There will always be some lucky people. Feng Xingliu said, it's not a good idea to bet on luck. I think we can just stay at the entrance and rob whoever we see. Feng Qingqing said, there are only 4 of us. If we infuriated everyone, even if we work together, we won't be able to withstand a round of attacks. Han Fei said, be more far-sighted. If you want to grab something, grab the best. It's meaningless to grab other things. Beyond the ordinary crowd, there were some sea realm heavenly talents in the center. The arrival of Feng Yu and the others immediately attracted the attention of Many people, for example, Yi Qing-chan, whom they had met before. Someone wanted to talk to her, but was stopped by her two guardians. For example, Yang Zhan, who had lost to Fengyu, stood on the shoulder of the Vajra divine ape, surrounded by a group of ancient demon experts. Han Fei also saw Xiao Jia, who he had once robbed, looking at him hatefully. Feng Xingliu pointed at Xiao Jia and said, "Aunt, what are you looking at?" "I'll cut your eyes off." Xiao Jia sneered. "Shut up. I'll tear your mouth apart sooner or later." "Feng Xingliu, how dare you talk to me like that? You're doomed." Next to Xiao Jia, a man in black looked at Feng Xingliu as if he were a dead person. Although Feng Xingliu had seen a lot of big scenes, the look in the man's eyes still sent a chill down his spine. Feng Xingliu was angry. "What are you looking at? Believe it or not, I'll gouge your eyes out too." "Oh? With your strength?" Someone sneered. "How did the Phoenix divine race give birth to someone like you?" In the God-ferrying ancient land, although everyone's realm is in the perfected star transformation realm, the original physique and soul strength remain unchanged. At this moment, Han Fei grinned ferociously. "You bunch of trash, how strong can your physique and soul be?" Feng Fei and Feng Qingqing couldn't help but secretly shake their heads. With Han Fei and Feng Xingliu here, it was impossible for them to stand aloof. This was simply a mobile provocative machine.